best in the country. Watch the race for the tournament crown right here on Pac-12 Network. 12. Come on now, Scottsdale. Let's get together and celebrate this conference in baseball. Then we'll open up this conference tournament. The Conference of Champions, it's Stanford. Struggling of late, they can get hot right now, though. ASU is hot. Now let's take a look at Pool B. That's where we will play ball this morning. But the key is the 2 games guaranteed. Then you move the 3 winners in, you move a wild card in, then you play into the semifinals. It's a wonderful way to play baseball in a tournament setting. So here's what you have today. Stanford, Arizona State. Then later on, you'll see Utah, USC, Washington, California. You like college baseball? You're at the right place. You're going to get to listen to this guy break it down. He's a great scout, longtime coach, Donnie Marbut. My name is Darren Sutton, and welcome back to the ballpark. What do you love most about having this conference tournament? Look, you banged the drum a lot when you were a head coach. Are you proud that it's out here?
Yeah, I really am, Darren. I'm excited for the teams. Obviously, when it comes to the NCAA bursts or some teams that are in, but this tournament allows these teams to continue to fight, and they all want to get to Omaha, win the national championship, and the winner of this tournament has a chance to do that.
So, great hitters make great coaches. He knows that. So let's talk about a couple of them. The coaches look really smart when they put them in the starting lineup. First up for Stanford, senior out of Seattle, Owen Kopp. Tell us why he's so good.
Well, he's a senior this year, obviously, Darren. He's been just absolutely fantastic. He's kept his best for his last, right? Plays really, really solid defense for Stanford, but what he's really done with the bat is gotten hot, hitting almost 400 with 4 home runs in the last 30 games. Those are almost, video game numbers.
Yeah, you take a look at his numbers, by the way. Doesn't walk a ton. He's aggressive, so he brings a bat to home plate for a reason. He wants to use it. Then there's the bat of Nick McLean. Both sides of the plate, damage. He's healthy, and that's bad news for everybody else.
Yeah, big left-handed swimmer. We talked about 400 in the last 30 games for Cobb. How about 566 in the last 12 games? McLean's fantastic, and he really makes that offense go. They're really dangerous 1 to 9, but the guy at the top of the lineup, he's truly the guy that makes them go.
So that top of the lineup, by the way, five players in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all double-digit home runs. So, with that in mind, what's your key to this game?
I think it's about strike 1 for Christian Lamb. He's a guy that's got multiple pitches. He's 3 to 4 pitches at times. He's an unflappable freshman. He does not pitch like a freshman, but if he gets behind the count on a team like Arizona State, he's going to be in trouble. So it's all about strike 1.
Scottsdale, brunch. I mean, that's the big thing. You go to brunch in Scottsdale. Baseball with your brunch today. We are ready to bring it to you. Stanford, obviously, they've scuffled of late. Who knows? Why not reel off a handful of wins in a row of late? Make things different. Win this thing, ASU. They really are working on that resume for Willie Bloomquist. Pre-game game is so important. It's got to feel nice if you're ASU. Kind of feels like a home game. It's not your ballpark, but it's your community. And you will have a lot of support, certainly for Stanford, such a young team. What a wonderful experience to play big games as Dave Esker builds for the future. 83 degrees. Can you beat that? I mean, the mornings and the evenings here in Scottsdale, it'll get into the 90s throughout this week, but nothing will be at all uncomfortable as we get later into May, which is unique. Owen Kopp at the top, Court McDonald, Jimmy Natty right behind him. Charlie Somm, one time a catcher, still will be. What about Malcolm Moore? This is possibly a first-round pick, right?
Yeah, there's not many left-handed hitters with that type of power, Darren. He's obviously become a better defensive catcher, too, as well, but really you're betting on the bat. And like I said, if you miss against Malcolm Moore, he can make you pay for it.
Ott, Becerra, Haskins, and Sapien. So, Connor Markle out of Notre Dame Prep. Why is he comfortable? He went to high school in Scottsdale. He went to Grand Canyon across town, then he transferred in. This is a veteran. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, but along the way, he's beaten Stanford. He's beaten ASU when he was at GCU. He's beaten Tennessee. He's beaten Arizona. He's a giant killer, and the number's pretty good, but days like this, they're made for Connor Markle.
Absolutely. Like you said, and there's no moment that's going to be too big for him, Darren. If you really think about it as well, he's got that offense behind him, too, right now. Arizona State is swinging the bat as well as you can possibly play, so all he's got to do is just put it on the plate.
Kian Vu's in center field with McLean in right, Williams in left. Campos, catcher, gotten better because otherwise his bat is all-American level.
Yeah, absolutely. In the scouting world, you might look at him and say he doesn't look the part, Darren, but what he does is play the part.
Yeah, that's exciting. By the way, Donnie, doing the long-time coaching thing. So here's what you're getting: perspective as a coach, Division I coach, a very successful one, but now the perspective of a scout. Are we allowed to say which organization?
Oh, sure, yeah, we can.
Proud of the St. Louis Cardinals. As the Cardinal go to work, and they take strike one. Let's play baseball. Hey, folks, good morning. Thanks for being with us. We're excited. Donnie and I, you, we're just going to enjoy some baseball together. As the Pac-12 looks the way it looks, it will no longer look this way anymore. So in a unique way, even if there is Pac-12 baseball in the future, this technically is the final tournament of its kind. So we're excited about it.
Absolutely. I look at these games, too, for some of these clubs, a little like a bowl game in a way, Darren, because they're getting to play more, right? Obviously, Stanford and Arizona State are probably both clubs that will have to win this tournament to get into the NCAA tournament, but you get to practice more and play more, especially with young teams.
Owen Cobb is from Seattle. Dave Esker knows that Cobb a very important guy when you have sophomores and freshmen in key positions on your team. Becomes an important situation. Down and away. That one died at home plate. Looked like he turned that one over. Dead fish pitch.
Yeah, good changeup right there to get the third strike against Cobb. Obviously, good arm side run off the plate. Great way to start for Markle.
Connor will get it up there. He will climb up above 90. He'll touch 91. Really, if the adrenaline's flowing, is 92. This is a quote-unquote pitcher. I don't like to just throw that out there like you folks understand. But he knows how to throw strikes. He knows he has to work ahead. 0-1 the count to Court McDonald.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit similar. Stanford as well as Arizona State, both starters today, left-handed that put it on the plate. They've got similar type numbers. Marco's just a little bit more experienced than Lamb is. But like I said, I'm expecting a really, really good pitching performance by both teams.
Court, one of those young sophomores, Willie Bloomquist, knows that he's dealing with a team that's highly talented but youthful. And a breaking ball. Change-up, strike three, batter one. Breaking ball, strike three, batter two. He gets McDonald. He's looking the part of appearing unflappable, so far anyway.
And that's one of the best things about Markle, too, Darren. Just look at it. He's got the glove on the right side. Yeah, when you're left-handed, you give yourself a chance no matter what.
Jimmy Natty is the first baseman. The Australian went to Oak Hill College, represented the national team a bunch of times as a young man. We all know about Travis Bazzana in this conference, but this sophomore has a high upside as well.
Yeah, he sure does. Like I said, Travis Bazzana has obviously had an unbelievable season. It's going to be one of those first picks in the draft, but don't be surprised by this young man. Next year, Jimmy Natty is going to go into the ACC, and he'll be one of the most dangerous hitters in that conference.
10-game hitting streak to open the season as he takes up and away. 18 hits, 3 walks. He got on base 21 times in his first 10 games to open the year.
I don't have a lot of experience, Darren, when it comes to Australian players, but when it comes to Bazzana and Natty, they both are just such passionate guys. They love to play. I think they both play the game the right way. Sure, they're both talented and they both put up good numbers, but just their intent and how much they love to play the game, it's really a joy to watch.
Well, it's not as prevalent. You have to work to find a place to play. Baseball is really growing and exploding in Australia. We don't want to make it seem like they don't know what a bat and a ball is in Australia. But it's much easier here in the United States to find a place to play. So if you're having to put in that kind of work, your parents are having to sacrifice that much. For that guy, that's been a big part of who he is. Bazzana too. So one more thing I want to ask you about too, and this is your coach's hat, as the 3-1 is high, ball 4. So for Natty and for anybody else, Australian athletes by nature are going to play cricket, they're going to play rugby, they're going to play soccer. Did you enjoy recruiting players that played a lot of sports?
It's the only guys I enjoyed playing.
Okay.
Recruiting, to be honest with you. Well, I shouldn't say that, Darren. If he was left-handed and he could really pitch, maybe I'd just say, hey, you don't have to play another sport. But it's those multi-sport athletes that obviously they keep developing as players, but also they bring that competitive nature that I really enjoyed coaching.
Charlie Song takes low and inside. 1-0 the count to the junior out of Southern California. Thousand Oaks High School. He won a Southern Section championship there. Played in 29 games first 2 years at Stanford. As he hits a high pop-up, shallow center. A trio of Sun Devils get together. Good communication. Kian Vu, the young man out of San Diego, California, puts that one away. We're rolling at the tourney. Stanford travels well. They always have, but you're going to just see more Sun Devil fans. It's local. This is you'll see more community folks. And the premium, even though it's not hot today, to be clear, but the premium is the shade. As we take a look at Ryan Campos, Kian Vu, Nick McLean. Jacob Tobias, an interesting player because this is a huge bat as it pertains to home run. He's got 18, and I'm guessing you'd say he's a possible pro at the next level.
Yeah, like I said, they've got a bunch of pros in the lineup at the next level, and there's a spot for everybody. We always talk about too, Darren, what's their path to the big leagues? And you know, if you look in the big leagues right now, we're looking for hitters, right? And Arizona State's got a couple at the top of the lineup.
Christian Lim takes the rock and he rolls. 72 and a third innings, 80 strikeouts. That's what catches my eye. A 4.35 ERA. What catches your eye about it?
Probably just the demeanor as a freshman, Darren. He doesn't, like I said, it's got good stuff, right? I wouldn't call his stuff just great or overpowering at the moment, but when you watch him pitch, you look like you're watching a 10-year Major League veteran, right? He's just unflappable, and like I said, next year going into his sophomore year, like I said, as they go into the ACC, he's going to be one of the top arms in that country.
Two-time pitcher of the week in this conference. Hot in center field behind him, Haskins and Cobb anchor the infield. And I think you know, folks, how I feel about Malcolm Moore. Perfect game All-American in high school. One of the best catchers in the draft coming up. A young man named Cozart. He's going to be taken very high, as well as a young man named Loma Vita. Those are kind of the top three guys behind the plate. And then there's this offense, speaking of catchers. Just one after another after another. So since Ryan Campos has gotten to school, all he has done is get on base about half the time, walk all the time, and do a ton of damage. He's got 11 home runs. And he's local. Just down the road, Red Mountain High School. It's been a wonderful story.
Yeah, he's gotten better on the defensive side each year. He's got better on the offensive side. He's kind of one of those guys that's kind of the classic overachiever, Darren, and he really makes his team go.
Chased a high fastball, high spin up and out of the zone. 1-1 the count, I should say, on Campos. We showed you his numbers there. 460 on base. He has swiped 5 bags. He's got 36 extra base hits this year. Beautiful breaking ball, 1 and 2.
Yeah, really balanced approach. He tries to stay inside the ball. You know, obviously it's a pretty offensive ballpark that they play in, just with the weather in general, though. But like I said, he's just one of those guys that he can spray it all around the field, but if you miss, he can leave the ballpark too.
Most of the time with Campos, a pitch like that, he takes on balance. Rare is it that you see him leaking out. He's really hard to fool. As a matter of fact, let's check this real quick. Only 25 strikeouts.
Yeah, and like I said, man, he's got 43, you know, base on balls hit by pitch combination, right? So if you think about it, like, he's almost 2-to-1 on the positive side. Nowadays, you're looking at guys that are having twice as many punch outs as walks. Well, he's twice as many walks as punch outs. And obviously, I would always tell my guys there, I'm like, hey, you get on base, you can score runs, you can win games. And he's a winner.
There's the walk. I love how you put it, by the way. Base on balls hit by pitch combination. Both of them put you on. One of them hurts a little bit more. This is how hot offensively this team is.
Yeah, and Lamb, what he's going to have to do, too, he's going to have to put it on the plate. Like I said, we talked about prior of getting strike 1, because he gets behind in the count. That's when Arizona State can really get the swing off, and that's when those 13 runs get put up on the board.
20-year-old Kian Vu. Part of that offense, as is everyone. Just a sophomore, but this year he has found his power.
Yeah, speaking of video numbers, even though he's only got 33 starts and 45 games in general, hitting 427 as a sophomore with 14 home runs.
About it, but he's slugging 825. That's somewhat laughable, somewhat silly. And the other part about that is that's almost 500 points higher than 500, to say it again, higher than his 353 a season ago. Bouncing ball, pretty good play. They'll have to get it to first, unable to dig it. Who will take the turn right away and head to second. He's in there. Net eye. Fired it on over to Haskins, who was covering. The throw was in the dirt. Jimmy couldn't dig it out. Good heads-up base running, right, for Vu? Well, we talked about Nick McLean coming on the air. We apologize, by the way. We have some technical difficulties. We'll fight through them. We'll fix them. And certainly our production team here in Scottsdale and at the mothership. Nick McLean, switch hitter. This is the right side as he takes low and inside. 1-0 the count. UCLA transfer, 346, 462 on base with 12 home runs, and he's walked more than he struck out.
Yeah, once again, he's one of those guys on the positive side of things, and that, you know, and that happens too when a team, especially the guys at the top of the lineup, do that, Darren. It becomes something that we want as a team.
McLean, deep to left field, to the corner it goes, and it's foul.
Yeah, such a luxury, Darren, to have your 3-hitter be a switch hitter. Obviously, he gets to flip to the right side against the left-handers, and like I said, this guy's just absolutely on fire right now. But we're going to really talk about the first 4 to 5 guys in Arizona State's lineup. Every time we talk about a guy on fire, it's somebody different.
Hitting streaks are there, 18. Gosh, I can remember when he was just a young man with a 6 or a 7 game hitting streak. Mendoza, Campos. This is all the top of the order. That's what's so devastating for the opposing team. This team has been just white hot offensively.
You know, we're just obviously in, you know, first inning of the first game of the tournament, Darren. But if we just look at the teams coming in, you can't sleep on Arizona State. The way they're swinging the bat, if they can get solid pitching, don't be surprised if these guys are playing for a tournament championship.
One-two, fly ball, right field. Zapia makes the play. A little bluff tag at second. He'll fire it right back into Haskins, the cutoff man. 2 outs in the inning. Well, here's Big Jake. Folks, as Tobias walks towards home plate, he does so with a 421 on base with 18 home runs on the year. The aggressive swing and miss, part of his game, but he's also walked 30 times.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call him a feast or famine type, Darren, but like that. But he's up there trying to hit it over the fence. I mean, there's just everyone's got a role in the lineup, and he's that 4-hitter that, you know, he's trying to make the ballpark look small, and he does that from time to time.
So all hitters are different. As he is beat in with a fastball, pops it up. And just to finish the thought, they're all different. So a good hitting coach and Willie Bloomquist and his staff understand that everyone's strength is different. But what I do see across the board for this team is they really have power from foul line to foul line. So I guess that's approach, right?
Yeah, no question. I mean, you're going to have some swing mechanic differences with guys, but as approach as a team, you've got to buy into the same approach. And really what they try to do is they try to hunt the fastball and take it away because they've got strength. They've got strength to leave the park, you know, on all fields. And not a lot of teams can do that. You're going to get some guys that can have some pull side power, get some extra base hits, but they've got to get the pitch middle in. If they get a fastball on the white, they feel like they get a good chance to put some damage on it.
What a career he had as a Sun Devil, Willie Bloomquist. What a major league career he had. He could play anywhere on the field. He was a leader by his work ethic, and more than a decade as a major leaguer.
Yeah, obviously a Northwest guy. Willie's a little bit younger than me, but knew Willie growing up, being a Northwest guy. And then when I was coaching, I was fortunate enough to have some pretty good players that were utility guys like Willie Bloomquist. And that was always the comp. Hey, man, you got a chance to be like Willie Bloomquist, but Willie, such a great competitor, right? Just a really good player, as you said. But I think the brain, you know, kind of changed everything for him. He allowed him to be a really, really good, successful major league player.
I love that, the brain. And he also, moving into the dugout as a college coach, spent time in the front office. He worked under Derek Hall, the successful CEO and president of the Arizona Diamondbacks, as his right-hand man. So he's learned just about every side of baseball, but I think right now he's where he wants to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's Mr. Sun Devil. He loves this place, and like I said, as the changes go on, the transfer portal, NIL, there's some challenges, right? But he loves being there, and like I said, this is year 2 for him, and my guess is kind of the trajectory right now at Arizona State, the way they're going, they're going to continue to go that way under Coach Bloomquist's guidance and leadership.
It's not always an easy job to have. There is a support group and an alumni that have really high expectations. There's a lot of banners on the wall there. Now, Brandon Compton got a couple of walks in the inning. You got a fielder's choice. Nothing's really been hit hard yet this inning.
You know, Compton's dangerous too as well, but really in that last situation there, Lamb, he pretty much pitched around Tobias in that situation to get to this batter. Obviously, now you got first and second. You got to force anywhere. And you got the guy that's maybe not as dangerous up in Compton, but still a dangerous hitter.
14 homers on the year, slugging over 650. A breaking ball that dots the outside corner. 1-1 the count. Compton, redshirt freshman, another local product. You got to go to Buckeye, Arizona to find his home on the outskirts of Phoenix.
Yeah, a lot of baseball gets played down here in the Valley of the Sun, Darren. So Arizona State, obviously, they've got tentacles. They can recruit nationwide, but there's no reason to be flying over players that they can just get right in their backyard. They've got a lot of good ones.
A funny thing about Compton, too, when he initially came out of high school at Buckeye High School, he hit a lot. But he was a #2 ranked left-handed pitcher in Arizona, as ranked by Perfect Game in 2022. So he had done quite a bit. I think that was just to give Lim a break there, stepping in Haskins. He was nowhere near the runner. 2-1 the count on Compton. Line drive right to the shortstop Haskins. Just a little hop to put it into his glove. We are rolling now, 1 in the books, chasing some offense. We put 1 in the books. Opening game here at the Pac-12 Baseball Championship, the tournament here in gorgeous Scottsdale, Arizona. Donnie Marba, Darren Sutton, and you. Thanks for being with all of us. And certainly pitching has been the order, and command of the order for Connor Markle. He stranded a single base runner. One of the big stories of teams heading into this tournament is the fact that ASU, in their last 10, is 8-2. They've won 6 in a row. Their offense has been red hot. Willie Bloomquist, their head coach. Thanks for hanging out with us, Willie. We really appreciate it.
You bet, Sud. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. What have you seen in this 6-game winning streak? We can look at stats all we want, but you see them in the locker room. You see their focus. Tell me about your team, your last 8 to 10 games.
Just they've been relaxed and just going and playing, and that's kind of what we've tried to been doing the last month or so, month and a half, is just trust themselves, go out and play their game, and good things are going to happen. So they've been playing a lot of confidence.
Hey, Willie, Donnie Marba here. Obviously, this is year 2 here for you, and you've had lots of hats in baseball player, and obviously up, in different roles. You played for some great managers, and obviously you played for a great manager with Murph when you played at Arizona State. But how about tell the viewers a little bit about your South Kitsap coach, Elton Goodwood, back in the day?
Ah, man, what a beauty. Coach Goodwin, rest his soul, was a beautiful man. He just high intense, chatterbox, little chipmunk over there in the third base coaching box, nonstop talking and chattering. But one thing he was great at was teaching the fundamentals of the game, and that's who I learned from growing up, was that man. So I owe a lot to him.
Speaking of fundamentals, Will, do you feel like, obviously, everybody's talking about the offense right now. You guys are swinging the bat really good, but what else has it kind of contributed to kind of the hot stretch you guys are on right now besides swinging the bat so well?
When we get good starting pitching, and we get length out of our starting pitching, the rest of everything kind of seems to fall into place pretty well. Getting off the field quick, not having long innings on defense helps our offense. And then obviously our bullpen, it helps when we get some length out of our starters.
You know, they talk about doctors practicing medicine, and the word practice comes in, right? Well, the RPI is practicing finding a way to rank baseball teams. Why don't you help me and sell me, and I've seen you more as much as anybody this year, why are you in your mind, especially if you play well here in a tournament team?
Well, I mean, I think of what you look at our body of work, especially in the second half, right? And I'll start with the fact of, we are a Power 5 conference. This is the Pac-12. We have more national championships than any other conference, almost by double. So there's that standard that the Pac-12 is still the conference of champions. We have a 17-13 record in our conference. What we've done as of late has been very impressive from a standpoint of no matter who we played, we've beat them and beat them convincingly for the most part. So we've had a great second half. So if you want to take that into consideration, and then as far as the RPI goes, it's a flawed system from top to bottom. And here, us on the West Coast, we don't have as many teams to play out here on the West Coast as they do over on the East Coast. So they can have their pick and choose from several different teams to play from. And on that note as well, Harry. We just have less teams to choose from, and then we're chasing it every year. So last year we got shunned a little bit for not having a good enough strength to schedule. This year we put 6 conference champions on our schedule, trying to chase the RPI. And end of the day, those teams that we end up were conference champions last year weren't quite as good this year. So that ultimately punishes us. So it's you're kind of chasing your tail when you're chasing RPI. So I think the only standard is how you do in your conference, and to me that's a big thing.
What an answer. By the way, you had a graphic, and you actually spoke to 3 of the lines on the graphic. It's like you came to our production meeting. We really appreciate it. We're going to let you go, but before I do, I want to ask you about Connor. Look, I've asked you the same question multiple times as he's beaten with the Texas Leaguer. Why was he the right fit for you? He had beaten a lot of teams at GCU, but why was a mid-major guy across town the right fit for you?
Well, I think experience was the first and foremost thing. Knowing what happened to us in the draft last year and kind of got gutted with our entire guys that we were hoping would return. They all left and got drafted, which is a good thing, for them. But as far as what it meant for us, we needed, with our a lot of freshmen that we had coming in, we knew we needed experience, and that's a guy that's logged a lot of innings at the Division I level in a very competitive program in Grand Canyon, and he came available, and we snatched him. So we're happy to have him, obviously.
Best of luck, Willie. Thank you for the time.
Thanks, guys.
Well, it's like he spoke to that graphic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I'd love to know what you thought about what he said.
No, it's like I said, of all the things that Coach has said, the thing that stuck out the most, Darren, it's a flawed system, right? I mean, and he's absolutely right. The East Coast and West Coast, it's really, really hard to be able to have a high RPI and a great schedule on the West Coast.
Becerra lines out to Harris Williams.
And when you're setting that schedule up there, like you said, 5 or 6 teams that have won conference championships. I mean, usually your schedule's a couple years out, but people have tradition and history. And, Arizona State in the past, they could just stay at home and not play anybody, right? Just win 50-some games. But the world's kind of a little bit different. So I credit the staff for obviously playing a tough early season. And you don't win a lot of games when you're playing a tough early season. But now they're kind of playing good baseball, and they are who they are because of that early season schedule.
And the 13 teams inside the top 50 RPI right now that have a league record at 500 or below. There are 23 teams of record of below 500 as well on the road. And Willie's team has played well on the road, 11-9 away from this city. 17 teams below 500 in Q1, Q2. That's Q1 is 1 through 50. Q2 is 51 through 100 basically in the RPI. So that kind of sums up a little bit about the flawed part of it. And this is such a historic conference.
Yeah, let's make no mistake about that. And Coach Bloomquist hit another great point, Darren. This is conference champions. It's called the conference champions for a reason. And when it comes to baseball, twice as many national championships as anybody, right? You can combine leagues, and they don't have as many national championships as the Pac-12 does. And it's sad, the situation that we're in. But like I said, there's still college baseball left, and don't be surprised, right? Whoever gets in the postseason from the Pac-12, they will make some noise in the postseason. There's no question about that.
Let's introduce you to shortstop Trevor Haskins, the junior, Valley Christian in San Jose, California. Haskins this year, 280, 330 on base with 6 home runs.
Yeah, good player, Darren. Just kind of has battled the injury bug in his career. They kind of feel like they're just kind of getting him right now. And the coaching staff thinks Trevor's just kind of scratching the surface of what he can be. If he happens to come back for his senior year, they expect him to kind of be that guy that they completely build around.
He's taken leadership roles, whether it be during his time in high school at Valley Christian. He's played internationally, Team USA 14U team. Played in the Cape last summer, played well. Got on base at over a 400 clip in the Cape, which, if you're a super casual baseball fan, Donnie's going to tell you how good the Cape is.
That's where the best of the best go play, obviously. And now, when you're up there, it's wood bats against the best arms in the country. So when you put up good numbers in that conference, you're doing something right. It's exactly what he did.
Goes down and gets that one and lines that one foul. Well, it's been a tough run. I mean, if you're a Stanford fan, you've been through it with them. You care about who they are, but it's hard to take a roster and make that roster really young and not go through your bumps and bruises.
Yeah, and Stanford fans have high expectations, which is great. That's a great fan base that has high expectations. But let's not forget the team that just went to 3 straight College World Series. Right? I mean, it's hard to do it every single year. And when it comes to Stanford, they get some high-profile commits to come to school. But when they come to school, they're still 18 years old. Still got to learn how to play in this conference.
Middle of the diamond into center field. It's a base hit. Good, quick turn, hot. He had no doubt in his mind he was going first to third. Made a great quick cut around that second base bag, and a good approach for Haskins.
Yeah, nice job using the middle of the field. Just kind of a short stroke, just continuing, to swing the bat well. This year, you know, when it comes to Haskell, he's got power, but there's a little bit too much swing and miss in his lineup
center field
right, for him. I think if he comes back for his senior, he's going to cut down on those strikeouts. He'll walk a little bit more, and then the extra base hits will come around for him too as well.
Jake Sapien gets to start in right field, the junior. 411 on base this year, hitting just 246, but he's walked a bunch. 16 walks, 16 strikeouts. And his job with that 411 on base is to get it right back to the top and on count.
Yeah, just turn this lineup over. Give the guys on the top of the lineup a really good opportunity to drive in runs.
Funny watching Marco work. And it's not that he's perfect at this, to be clear. He's given up runs this year, but this is where his heartbeat seems to even get more quiet when there's pressure on.
Yeah, left-handers that can obviously pull the string like he can control the run game. And he's been doing so far there, he's staying down. Right? You don't get hurt as much when you're down. And even though obviously Stanford's got some power in the lineup, he can stay below the knee level. He'll give himself a really good chance to be successful and win today.
Nice job. Campos formed that C with his body and just kept it right there in front of him.
Yeah, Campos is really built for the new professional game there. It's more of an offensive game. It's not as important behind the plate on the defensive side to the game. I'm a little bit different. I think obviously the defensive side is so very, very important considering he's going to catch 150 balls a game. But to his credit, right, he's always had a bat, right? He can swing the bat really well, but each year he's gotten better receiving the ball, blocking the ball, and throwing the ball. And come July when he gets drafted, it's going to show.
Ranging to his left and underhanded flip. Harstetter gets it on to the freshman Mendoza. Hanging out at the yard with the youngster. Nothing better. They'll catch a little bit of baseball, but it's the snacks. Let's be honest. The Brett Wallace jersey. Love that.
Oh, Darren, did you just say Brett Wallace?
I did. Allowed to say that?
Well,
did he do a lot of damage as a coach?
It was just, when we were talking to Coach Bloomquist when Malcolm Moore was up, I thought of like Ike Davis, P.D. Paramore, Brett Wallace. Like when I was getting interviewed during those moments, I just turned away. Like you can't do anything anyways, right? I was just praying and hoping. But what a great hitter he was, and what a great Sun Devil he was.
Pretty breaking ball dots the inside corner. This is Ethan Mendoza. Speaking of pretty good developing Sun Devils, those are nice numbers for a first-year player. He's a Texan. A little bit past 19 years old. South Lake Carroll High School, which is a really good program as he takes outside. And Donnie, he's playing second base, a key position as a freshman.
Yeah, good player, grinder type. He's got some of that Willie Bloomquist mentality, right? They like the way he plays. The game's really important to him. And he's not only holding his own as a freshman, hitting over 300 as a freshman, like playing good defense and kind of doing it all. Like I said, he's not just doing one thing. He does multiple things for this team, and they're definitely excited about his future.
Swing and a miss. He'll hustle down the line on an off-speed pitch, a swing and miss. Malcolm Moore turns it into an out with the gun to Jimmy Nada.
Yeah, nice start by Lamb right there. Good breaking ball in the dirt, made him chase.
A little bit about this talented left-hander, Mr. Lim, who, by the way, 2 times the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week. Back in the day, Dad played ball at Yale. Tennessee State Pitcher of the Year in 2023. He was at Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, talking about expanded recruiting tentacles, Darren. I mean, Stanford go anywhere they want. And for young Mr. Lim, when they're in the ACC, I guess Mom and Dad are going to be a little bit closer to him. They're going to be able to maybe watch a little bit more of his games because he's going to be more on the East Coast than he has been on the West Coast since last year.
McYoung, his mom, Paul, his dad.
I watched him early in the season there at Oregon State when Oregon State was swinging the bat really good. He stifled him for the first 5 to 6 innings. He was just absolutely outstanding. Like I said, the thing that surprises me or that I like the most about him is just like his demeanor. Like he pitches really, really quickly. I love watching him after he does give up a hit. It doesn't faze him at all.
6 1/3 shutout against Creighton back in late March. He struck out 11. 6 shutout at Rice. He struck out 10. His outing against ASU, they got him a bit. Pretty good pitch. It's called high. He went 5, gave up 5 runs in that game, a pair of home runs, but it seems like ASU homers off of everyone these days.
And he's actually really put together too. Look at the body type. He's strong too. He's kind of got that compact delivery, but when you get up next to him, he doesn't look like a freshman. He looks like a well-developed junior.
Just missed with that little cut to it. Nearly grabbed the outside corner. Breaking ball, strike 3. Good late break with that. Back-to-back strikeouts as he gets Mendoza and then Harris Williams.
And Carster to the left side, senior left side between him and Odina. Like just another quality, steady player. Hitting 263 on the season, got a little bit of thump, but really he's out there for his defense. He's more of a defensive-minded player. He's played a really solid defense for the Sun Devils.
0-1 the count to Carstetter. He's from State College, Pennsylvania. He went to State College of Florida to play his JUCO baseball and then found his way across the country. Good program, by the way, State College of Florida. He was another one that played in the Cape Cod League and performed last summer. Left that breaking ball out over. We'll do it again, 0-2.
Question for you, Darren. Have you ever been to State College?
I have not.
Just got plans. This fall, I will be watching the Huskies play Penn State in November.
Wow.
Yeah, my nephew plays for the Huskies, tied in for the Huskies, Ryan Otten. So we're going to go out to State College. I've never been before, but we're definitely excited for that trip.
That sounds amazing. Experience, great experience, the history around programs like that we see in this conference as well. Destinations. Most of us have the west side of the country covered.
Yeah, the East Coast and the Southeast, they like their sports.
How about the side that time for this left-hander? Beautiful dying pitch, the last one, eliciting a swing and a miss. Good looking breaking ball. Mendoza, Williams, Carstetter. Good morning, good afternoon, and good. You think about this conference as Donnie Marbut and I welcome you back to Scottsdale, Arizona. A reminder, 76 national championships in college baseball, 29 of them. 29 have been won by this conference. 16 for the SEC, 9 for the Big 12, and a half dozen for both the Big 10 and the ACC. Certainly developing talent, draft talent, as we look ahead to the NCAA tournament with great hope that more than 2 teams, 3 teams find their way in from this conference. But a lot will be determined, Donnie, at this event.
Yeah, a lot of games will be played here. A lot of teams can help themselves out. I feel pretty good about the 3 teams are already in right now, Darren.
When Cobb's feeling good, he's hustling on around. It's a couple of bases. It's funny, he pulled it off speed pitch, but the bat was level. He stayed back. Nice level swing through the zone.
Yeah, that's the thing that's rare nowadays. People are talking about launch angle and, you know, exit velocity. When you're flat through the zone, give yourself a little bit more room for error. You can be a little bit early, have some contact, get a little late, have some contact. Nice job there by Owen Cobb.
We praise so much, and we should, hitters that take the baseball the other way, that let it travel. But I'm curious, especially for us casual baseball fans out there, there's still nothing wrong with pulling the ball, is there?
No, just the right pitches, right? If you're pulling the right types of pitches, but you know, it's tougher to drive the ball the other way. Good hitters hit the ball the other way. Solid hitters could be pull type guys, but the greatest hitters in the world, right? The right-handed hitters are trying to hit it over the second baseman's head.
Well, what an interesting approach that was. Watching McDonald in the box there as he chopped it to the left side, he almost looked like a slapper in softball.
Yeah, he showed a little Ichiro right there, Darren. Like I said, a little bit of slap, because obviously he is a good runner. He runs really, really well, but right, kind of just like a touch and go right there.
He straight Happy Gilmore that swing.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen him take a lot of BP. I've actually never seen him do that, so it was a little bit surprising.
Jimmy Nati walked back in the first inning. They've had Connor working the entire time. Base runners. Had a single base runner in the first, a pair in the second, now a leadoff double that Markle will try to work around. On May 11th at Stanford, Markle went 6, gave up 1 run, as that one is foul, and struck out 5. I was on the call on an unfortunate day for him against Washington, probably his biggest bump in the road of the year. Couldn't get out of the third, gave up, when it was all said and done, 10 runs, 8 earned, but that doesn't tell the story this year. It's been 3 runs or less just about every time out.
Yeah, that's just all about consistency and pitching in big games. He gives coach a chance to win, and that's what you're looking for. You can't expect guys in this conference with aluminum bats and the types of bodies and physicality this league has to just shut people out. But can you go out there? Can you give us a chance to win? Can we look up in the 6th or 7th inning? Can our starting pitcher still be out there? Right, and that's what he's been doing, and that's exactly what Coach Bloomquist talked about in his interview earlier. Like they're getting lengthier starts on the mound, and that's why they're on the streak that they're on.
Good off speed. It's a high fly ball, center field. Tracking it is Kian Vu for the 2nd out of the inning. And we've moved past the extra spots on rosters and the extra years because of COVID. But when you look at Connor, consider this. We haven't moved past the fact that all these baseball players out here lost some season along the way, lost some development. Connor, as an example, lost his senior year of high school in baseball.
Yeah, and definitely you're maturing a lot. You're trying to get that, you're using that senior year to get ready to go play in a conference, and obviously he did that, and it probably put him behind a little bit, but that experience that he's had at Grand Canyon and who he's pitched against has helped him in moments like this.
Beautiful approach the other way, but it's corralled. Can he recover? He does. Pretty swing by Charlie Somm, trying to hit it the other way. Mendoza just got around the baseball. Ryan Campos due up. One of the best bats in the nation. A catcher batting leadoff. We'll introduce you to this man when we come back. We roll along to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. One of my favorites because he's so real and such a great coach, Dave Esker, inside that Stanford dugout. It's one of those years, Coach, boy, you have some special talents, and you know I've known some of these kids from back in my PG days, but you've got a lot of sophomores out there earning key time. What's it like to develop like that, especially in this conference?
Well, my hair was all black before the season started, a lot of patience, right? And these are 8 guys playing significant time for the first time, and a lot of growing pains and a lot of you know, just survival baseball to put it bluntly. And you know, they got to get over that hump, and we're going to be better for it, but you know, we're going to be a little bloody getting there.
Coach, I don't, you know, obviously not all the viewers know all your background, but I mean, we're talking spanning 40 years in the Pac-12, right? As a player, as a coach, and as an assistant coach. I was a little time at Pepperdine, but really the last 40 years, you've been a mainstay in Pac-12 baseball. And obviously this is the last year, so I just kind of want to get your feelings on it.
Tragic.
I felt that, but I just want to get your feelings.
It's tragic. It's terrible. You know, I don't, you know, the fact that we're not going to have series that, you know, against Arizona State, Arizona. What I'm not looking forward to is they're going to be able to weed out the West in a West regional. It'll be, you know, Stanford, Arizona, Arizona State, UCLA in a West regional, right? Which would normally have been our conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, Coach, like I said, you've seen so much, and obviously coming off of 3 straight trips to Omaha, right? And we know the expectations for the Stanford program and the fans and the players, they're high. What's going to have to happen for you guys to obviously get back to where you guys want to be when it comes to next year?
Yeah, you know, it's going to take us a minute. You know, when we had that junior class that took us to 3, you know, straight trips to Omaha, we probably projected that, you know, 3-4 would sign, but we didn't project 9 would sign. You know, and then we got bit a little bit by the portal, which is just life the way it is today. It makes it a little more difficult at Stanford with our admissions. You know, they don't just let us pop a new guy into Stanford. But you know what? Nobody feels sorry for us. I get that a lot. Like, Coach, we don't feel sorry. We went to Omaha 3 years in a row, and he won the league the last 2 years. But you know what? We've got. It's going to take us a minute to get it back, and we will. We will. You know, there's been a couple times this year I'm like, you better get us this year, because this may be your best chance.
Well, there's no chance that's not right, Coach, because I know you definitely will. But speaking of popping in players, you did get a new player that's not playing this year in April. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, you're right. Rintaro Sasaki. Man, he's been great, and you know, I've asked many times, like, God, we need a spark in the lineup. What's the one guy that would just uplift the play of everybody in our lineup? And they go, Coach, he's here, but we're not playing him. He's just a, hey, it's real, right? I mean, he's got some big power. He can leave the field to all fields. He's a better defender than we ever thought he would be. He's going to play. He's a little bit of a celebrity on the road. You know, he'll be walking, and all of a sudden we hear a bunch of yells for him, and you know, a lot of Japanese fans will come out and watch him play, and they've heard of him. So it's going to be different. It's going to be interesting to see the fan base at Sunken Diamond in a year. It's going to change a little bit, but all for the better.
So you're basically saying we got a little bit of Shohei Ohtani going on the
well,
farm.
you know the connection, right? His dad was Shohei's high school coach, right? And so they're close, and Shohei's looked out for him a little bit, which is awesome. And you know, it's rare that we get that kid, but we know now we got an Australian and a kid from Japan, which is pretty cool.
Hey, what did Christian Lim, and when did it happen, do enough to open your eyes to have him be in this spot here and earn starts every weekend for you?
Well, our only shot to hang with Arizona State the way they've been swinging is to go left-handed. So, and we knew that it kind of lined up, right? That ASU could be in that 7 hole. We needed that, and so, you know, we knew that we may have to hold them out of last week, you know, at the risk of, you know, losing another game, but we did, because after the first game it kind of mapped out that Arizona State was going to be in our first game. And what a great hitting club they got this year, right? They're pretty deep, and it's pretty relentless.
Dave, thank you.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.
David Esker, one of my favorites. So real, such a great guy to talk to. By the way, he was great long before this year, so don't buy that stuff.
No, class act, Dave. Class act, Dave is Darren, and like I said, he's had great success at Cal, and you know, even though he played at Stanford, hey, it's not the easiest thing to do to come over and take over for Coach Marquis at Stanford, right?
No.
What he's done here in his 7 years has been absolutely phenomenal, and like I said, I cannot wait for Stanford to take the ACC by storm next year.
You know, it's interesting, a couple of the points he made with the academic standards, the transfer portal really doesn't apply to Stanford. It just doesn't. And you know, you have like Brandon Larson, who came in from UCSD. Okay, so you're coming from a UC school, which is high academics, but I'm sure that was a difficult move to get a freshman out of UCSD through the portal to get him to fit at Stanford. That's just, they don't shop in the portal.
No, so not everybody, not everybody's playing with the same rules, Darren. Like I said, it just, I remember in my time at Washington State, sometimes I'll be quite honest with you, sometimes you felt like you were going to a long drive contest with a 6-iron.
Okay.
Right? It is what it was, right? The same thing with Stanford in this transfer portal. You can't just go get whoever you want. That's the one thing. I love that we're giving players opportunities, right? When it comes to NIL and those types of things. But now you're watching teams get really, really good because of other teams' players, right? You know, UCLA's not here right now, right? And there's, hey, you want to talk about unbelievable people, great coaches, John Savage, you kidding me? And UCLA's not here, but two-thirds of their rotations at LSU, right? So it's really a difficult time for teams, and I'm not really sure the changes that have to be made, but there needs to be some change so we can really figure out who the best coaches are out there, who are the best programs, because right now there are people just buying players and they're buying championships, and I'm not sure if that's really what college athletics is supposed to be about.
Boy, good thoughts. Excited to see the evolution, especially if there's that kind of leadership and passion. Your thoughts on the people that are out there? I know a great coach like Randy Mazey's decided at West Virginia he's going to walk away from the game. The game is not better off for that, but he's an advocate, and maybe someone like Randy can be a spokesperson and lead with your kind of thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely hope so, because there needs to be some type of changes. Like I said, I don't know what they are. I just know what we're doing right now is probably not working.
Kian Vu reached on a fielder's choice. Oh, he wraps that bat right over his shoulder. It's fun watching him hit. You remember, well, he's now the Cubs manager, but when Craig Counsell, who won a world championship here with the Diamondbacks, he used to hold that bat so high over his head. Vu's the other way, but he looks like he's got it pointed straight to the ground. Wait till the pitch comes home. He just gets back to normal.
Yeah, he's got just a nice little low. But he's down, like I said, when he's ready to get the barrel going forward, he's got that bat back to a position of strength. Like I said, the numbers show it. So, speaking of Counsell, I saw his son play this spring for University of Minnesota, Darren. When I watched him walk up there, I was waiting for the stance, but he did not have his dad. No, he did not have his dad's stance. He had his own stance.
I tell you, that approach as he gets in and holds that back to the ground. It literally looks like a chiropractor's dream. I mean, you could just feel that back stretching. Pilates, yoga, all of it going into it. I love it. It's what gets him comfortable to hit.
Yeah, and speaking of comfortability, when a guy's going up there, especially what he's doing right now as a sophomore, hitting 427 with 14 home runs, I'm not sure Coach Bloomquist cares how he goes up there.
Right.
Just get up there.
Right.
I think he'd probably like to hit him even more than once if he could in the lineup. Like maybe try to hit him 1, 4, and 7.
Runner goes, pitches inside, throw down more. Beautiful tag by Haskins. He took that one right off the turf and popped the tag right down. It was a pretty throw from Malcolm Moore, who is a pro at the next level very, very soon. But this doesn't happen without this man here. Oh, what a tag by Haskins. I'd pump my fist too. Defense for the Cardinal. Here's they battled out of this tournament. Coach Esker, they kept going along. Well, when you go back since 2011, so you're what, at a decade plus? This program, this man's coached a lot of them, along with number 9. 486 wins, more than any team in California since the 2011 season. There's a lot of good baseball out there.
Yeah, pretty impressive run that they've been on, and like I said, it's been going on since the late 80s. You know, Coach Esker, people forget he played at Stanford from 84 to 87, won a national championship as their shortstop in 1987, and they've just had an absolutely remarkable run when it comes to baseball.
Malcolm Moore's out of Sacramento, California. He takes a pitch, 1-0 the count. He's the son of Billy and Tracy Wilson, his older brother. This is a guy that was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of California twice. Moore drives that one toward the wall or right center field. Malcolm Moore hurries around and disappears. A home run for the Cardinal and for the pro prospect catcher, Malcolm Moore.
Yeah, he's the type of guy, obviously, that's fastball up in the strike zone, Darren, and that's the last thing you want to do to Malcolm Moore. He's starting to get hot. The numbers right now doesn't show it's a great season, but, you know, that's home run number 14 on the year for the catcher.
It's funny about Moore, if you stop at batting average, Donnie's right, 247. But how much are they pitching to him? He's got an on-base of 407, and he destroyed that.
Yeah, and I saw him earlier today, Darren. I got out a little bit early for batting practice, and his swing's a little flat. Early in the season was really, really uphill, and you know, especially on the scouting side of things, I understand what kids are trying to do. You know, look at Major League Baseball. Who's getting paid? What are they doing? Are they hitting it on the ground? Are they stealing bases? Or are they hitting it over the fence? Right? These guys are trying to hit it over the fence to get paid, and like I said, his swing's flat now a little bit. It's helped him, I think.
FIU transfer Steven Ondina, the shortstop. He's a good one. Here's this again.
Yeah, like I said, there's big power in that bat right there, and it's up in the strike zone. If you're going to go up with Malcolm Moore, you're going to have to go 94, 95, 96, and you can't go fastball up against Malcolm Moore, 88 to 91. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, home runs allowed. They've allowed them. Their ballpark allows home runs. They've hit home runs. Down off the end of the bat. Into the alley it goes, and it's down for a base hit. Timo Becerra, big aggressive turn. Timo, who flied to left back in the second inning. And Becerra, as he stepped in, having a good year. 295, 359 on base.
Yeah, and Becerra's one of those guys that'll be back next year too, I'm quite sure, as a senior. So even though they're, like I said, they're a little bit, they've got some veteran right now. Next year they'll look really, really old, right? They're going to be an older team next year. But the problem is a lot of these guys didn't play as freshmen. The guys that are juniors, they didn't really play until this year, Darren, because they had those guys. Like I said, I think Coach Esker said they lost about 9 or 10 guys last year to the draft. So obviously these guys, even though they're juniors, they haven't played a lot. They're getting a lot of time as juniors, and then as seniors, they'll be veterans.
That's why that graphic was what it was. You have a big drop-off, and have a hitter with great power like Brayden Montgomery, who transfers out as well. Into the corner it goes. Trevor Haskins shoots that one on around. We'll throw a stop sign up. It's a double. Runners on second and third for the Cardinal. Haskins, 2 for 2 today.
Yeah, we talked about, obviously, with UCLA having some transfers. I mean, talk about Brayden Montgomery, Darren. Like, probably, without a doubt, he's going to be one of the top 10 players picked in college baseball. So if he's in this Stanford lineup right now, everybody changes a role, and it changes completely everything.
It may happen on an occasion. On an occasion, you may have someone that leaves Stanford through the portal. But at the end of the day, Coach Esker's going to beat most of you on the front end and getting kids to campus, especially if they're elite academic, elite baseball players.
No question.
He's going to beat you. He just is. It's Stanford.
Yeah, very rarely are you going to beat Stanford. But we know right now that the new world that we live in, that people and kids, they're chasing dollars.
Sure.
And certain programs are paying dollars to get their players. Not saying that they're better coaches, right? But they're paying those players, and you can't blame kids. I hear this all the time from maybe some of the old fuddy-duddies. You know, the kid's not loyal. Well, I like to think myself as a loyal guy, but if I was 19, 20 years old and somebody wanted to give me $500,000, Darren, I think I might take it.
I'm 54 and I take it. I don't even have to be 19 or 20. The son of Dana and Van Sapien, Jake, grounded out back in the second inning. Out of Atwater, California, went to a lot of work to get here in the classroom, certainly. It was all regional. Played his travel ball for NorCal Valley and the Red Sox scout team as a young man. This was a good basketball player and a really good water polo player as well when he was in high school. There's that multi-sport thing.
Yeah, the multi-sport athlete, they change everything there. And I will tell you this, if you ask a coach, right, to a man, they enjoy coaching those guys more too, right? They're competing, they learn how to compete, they learn how to do lots of different things. And there's a higher ceiling for these players that play multiple sports.
3-0 green light, and he pops it foul. Markle's back's against the wall. Just one out, 3-1 the count. And this lineup is about to flip, and that's where most of the danger comes in the on-deck circling Cobb.
Yeah, Arizona State's dangerous offensively, but the way that Lamb's pitching right now, Markle needs to find a way to get out of this inning.
Pretty pitch. Don't know if he'll throw it, but Markle is the kind of guy in this situation. As Moore looks on, they will throw a 3-2 changeup. He did. And it's into the dirt and it's ball 4. He'll tell you it wasn't his best one.
No, it wasn't his best one, but a good walk right there. If there is such thing as a good walk right there, Darren, now all of a sudden we set up the double play situation. Even though the lineup's turned over and Cobb's up, Cobb's swinging a good bat, you want to give yourself a chance here to turn the double play.
Quick visit to discuss the situation. Zamparazza comes out. What a great recruiting coordinator and an even better pitching coach. Well, you wear both those hats. That's a full-time job times 2.
Yeah, not an easy job, especially pitching in the desert, right? This is a great ball, you know, whether it's here or they're playing at Phoenix Muni. They're great places to play. But if you were to ask a coach, you asked a player, would you rather pitch there or hit there? They always want to hit there. They don't want to pitch there.
Jonah Giblin warming in the bullpen. The right-hander getting hot very quickly. Let's see if Markle can turn that ice water machine on and get it going through his veins. He's no stranger to that.
No, he's going to have to get something on the ground. He's going to have to get something close to the defender because Cobb can run, right? This will be no easy double play turn even if they get it on the ground.
Cobb's aggressive. He's only walked 14 times all year against 41 strikeouts. On and away, 0-1 the count.
Yeah, this for me, when I'm looking at Owen Cobb here, and I'm looking at this is what college baseball is about. I watched him in high school. Good player. You knew he was going to go to Stanford. You probably knew he wasn't going to play early at Stanford, right? It was going to take some time, but went to Stanford, put the time in, and now has become a 2.5-year type starter and has had a really solid career for Stanford.
Earns his degree along the way. Started at Seattle Academy. His first 3 years, he had 9 total hits. 9 total hits. Heck, the UCLA series, he almost had that many hits.
Yeah, he's really coming into his own his senior year, and it's exciting for him. Hopefully, I'm quite sure he's hoping he gets a chance to play professional baseball as well.
The throw is off the mark, and it is costly. It was a slow roller. You would have gotten the runner at the plate for sure. Maybe not a double play, but Carstetter fires it to the backstop.
Yeah, tough play right there by Carstetter. Probably didn't get his feet set at the time, and all of a sudden the ball sailed on him. So a tough situation right now for Markle to be in. Right? He's going to have to find a way, hopefully, to get another one on the ground like he did.
Well, he did make his pitch. He fed off the aggression, got the bottom side of that bat. That hurts.
Timely for Stanford. I don't think a lot of things have gone Stanford's way recently, especially in that last 10 games swing that they're on right here. But definitely that way went the way for the Stanford Cardinal that time.
McDonald on the ground, rolls it. He's 0 for 2 his court.
Yeah, I'm wondering in this situation, Darren, are we going to see some of that slap and run again right here? I wasn't, like I said, that surprised me a little bit. Seems like it might have surprised Coach Esker a little bit too as well.
We did. It was before we were officially connected.
Yeah.
Good take on a breaking ball. Trojans in the house. When you get a facility like this, which is a spring training facility, you have an entire extra diamond that you can work with. To the backstop it goes. And another Cardinal run. Haskins scores easily.
Yeah, this is what was kind of happening a little bit early in the season for Arizona State. They really haven't had innings like this lately there, and they've been getting some solid pitching. But right here is the game's kind of getting away from them a little bit. They're going to have to, even though they've been scoring close to 13 runs a game, they're definitely going to stop the bleeding right here.
Outside, 3-1 the count.
Yeah, with Natai on the bench, on deck right here, Darren, I think if you're Marker, you got to go at court right here. You got to create some contact.
They didn't. They missed outside. So Natai, who walked, flied to center field. Well, this team can hit. They can get off the deck with the best of them. They're going to have to do that again today. I think regular season he stays with Connor a little bit more. He's earned that.
Yeah, you know, for a majority of these teams, probably, you know, I hate to say this, Darren, because I don't know, obviously, but just if you look at history, we got 9 teams here. I think we've got 3 teams in that are probably in, but it's kind of lose or go home for the other 6, so they're going to do things a little bit differently.
Markle is done for today. Jonah Giblin goes to work. We'll reset.
Hey, not your fault.
Fun tournament. First of all, that it exists. Number 2, that it's pool play. Every team gets a chance to flex for a couple of games. Then you see when you reset who's heading on to the semifinals. And don't forget, later on this afternoon, Wes Clements, Roxy Bernstein will be with you. Aoki on one side, Risky on the other. It's Utah. Well, for a majority of the season, they were one of the great stories in this conference. Hit the bumps a little bit along the way, but this ought to be a fun one at 2:30.
Yeah, kind of 2 teams going in the opposite direction. USC starting to play good baseball, and Caden Aoki, he's kind of been hurt for a while. They brought him back slowly, and they've kind of moved it in the rotation so he could start on today. Usually, you know, going into this season, he was going to be their Friday guy, so it's kind of set up for SC in a way to be successful, at least today.
Andy Stankiewicz building in a unique year as Jonah Giblin takes the rock, goes to work. 31 2/3, walk total low, strikeout total high. From Seattle, Washington. That was a tough year if you didn't follow it closely for USC. As they do work on Dado, their beautiful ballpark, they were kind of bantied about Southern California, playing in different spots. A lot of it in Orange County and Irvine. It's a beautiful complex. Working in the travel ball world as I do, Great Park is gorgeous, but you know, it's a challenge if that's your home stadium and your school's in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, I'm here as a fan, Darren, obviously, and these coaches, a lot of these guys I was lucky enough to coach against and respect the heck out of. But when you think SC and Coach Stankiewicz and what they've done, like it's been a tough year for those guys, man. Like I said, and they won't have their field next fall either. Next spring. So they've been road warriors. They've been in a hotel. They've been on the road nonstop. So really hoping for good things this weekend for USC and the Trojans.
Give me that eye against Giblin. Big right-hander. We showed you the numbers. He's from Seattle, Washington, Bay Bridge High School. Stops at Oregon State and then Phoenix College. Kind of a JUCO grinder is where he really pitched himself to this level as he fires a strike in there.
Yeah, he can run that fastball up, 92, 94 miles an hour. He's got the good hard slider. Like you said, there's more strikeouts than walks, right? This situation with the bases loaded, Natai can't just throw over the middle of the plate. He's going to have to really execute a good pitch here because Jimmy Natai's got 21 doubles on the season. He can clear him in a heartbeat.
Sophomore from Sydney. Jimmy played in just a handful of games last year, was 5 for 44. It's a new year this year, boy. He's really come of age. He didn't bite on that one. And a nice job by Campos.
The cool thing about Natai as well as Bazana coming from Australia, you watch in the next 5 to 10 years how many Australian kids play college baseball. They're just, not that baseball's not on the map in Australia, but really what these guys are doing in college baseball, they're going to have some young Australian kids want to be the next Jimmy Natai or Travis Bazana, and it's cool to be a part of it.
That one well struck toward the wall in left center field, tracking and will roll all the way to the track and then the wall. You called it. A bunch of doubles. He can clear it in a second. That's exactly what happened. 3-spot added on for the Cardinal. It's 6-0.
Yeah, really nice swing by Jimmy Natai, number 22 double on the season for Jimmy, but exactly what you're looking for right there. Like I said, Stanford's really putting on Arizona State right now, and don't forget how well Christian Lamb is pitching on the other side of things for him.
Yeah, right away he knew I don't have to tag up. I can trot on home. Sapien, Cobb, McDonald all came on down behind. This is a huge ballpark, by the way, and once that settled in, it was not even close to the defenders. Campos getting beat up. 1-0 the count. Charlie Somm. This inning started with a home run by Malcolm Moore. Somm is the 9th Stanford team member to hit in this inning.
I had a couple guys asked me prior to the tournament what I thought was going to happen, Darren, and talked about momentum for teams, and I'm always just a big firm believer that momentum's only as good as the guy you got on the mound the next day, right? So obviously Arizona State's been playing really well. Stanford's lost 10 straight, but Stanford right now has got Christian Lim on the mound, and that's a good recipe for success.
A high strike right at the belt. 2-1 the count. Somm 22, just played in 20 games. Last year, just 9 games. As Charlie fouls that one off. In the middle of a humble 4-game hitting streak. He's got 5 hits and a walk during that time. But bigger picture, since the middle of April, last 10 games, he's raised his average from 235 to 295. He saved the best for right now.
He's got 88 at-bats on the season, Darren, with 8 home runs. You're talking every 11 at-bats, he's leaving the ballpark. So, like I said, that's a solid junior year for Charlie Somm. He'll be a really, really experienced, dangerous threat in the lineup for the Cardinal next year.
Breaking ball got him that time. Good firm slider disappeared. Somm with the catching history in his background. Maybe when this man goes high in the draft, sorry, Mr. Esker, you're going to lose him. Somm can help out behind the plate, certainly. More homered to start this very inning.
Yeah, really surprised right here, Darren. They're even actually pitching to him. I mean, you got a right-hander, Ethan Hott on deck. He's got no home runs on the season. You got 2 outs. Morris already went deep this first inning. If I'm Coach Bloomquist right now, I'm just putting 4 wide ones on him right now and putting him on first base.
They got to go. Willie's guys have got to go. Offensively, they've got the potential to do so. They do pitch to him, and he drives it. Deep right field, out of here. 2 home runs in a single inning for Malcolm Moore. The man with the buzz cut, buzzing the towers out there in right field.
Yeah, another good swing by Malcolm Moore. You know, you're going to go into a game like this, Darren, and as a coaching staff, you're going to get together and say who's not going to beat us, right? In that situation, Malcolm Moore is obviously the most dangerous guy in that lineup, and he proved that again today.
0-1 the count on Ethan Hott. Out onto the Charles Lodge party deck out there in right field. Come on, Malcolm. Hit 13 home runs his senior year of high school. Going back a couple of years, Malcolm was one of my favorite interviews ever at the Perfect Game National Showcase. Interviewed him at Tropicana Field where the showcase was being held. For a lot of reasons, super intelligent. I mean, let's go there. He's very, very intelligent. He's a Stanford baseball player, but he did that. He dominated in the classroom in high school. But he's very big on meditation and nature and loved talking about that with him. Whereas a lot of people felt alone during the pandemic. Nice recovery, but not in time. Malcolm enjoyed nature, getting to know himself, and enjoys the meditation of it. So an interesting conversation with the man who was at a huge one inning alone in this game.
Yeah, 15 home runs on the season. And you might look at the batting average there and say, oh, you know, what do we talk about this type of player? But people got to, remember is that in the junior year is the big draft year for college baseball players. That's when they go out. So that's that pressure on those guys a little bit. Sometimes that junior year can kind of get to them because they know that all eyes are on them. But looks like Malcolm's really settled in the last month and playing good baseball.
Hit hard, but right into the leather of Ethan Mendoza. How about 12? 12 Cardinal had a chance to hit. One of those swings, the second attack on Malcolm Moore. Do you pitch to him? Do you not? They went after him, and Malcolm made them pay. Yeah, fun. You got the bits in between innings. They were talking Olympic rings, by the way, with the Olympic soundtrack and music being played in this Olympic year. ASU fans taking it in, and by the way, they saw a couple of long balls for the opposing catcher. It's Malcolm Moore. 2 blows in a single inning. Don't sleep well at night. Your dinner tastes better. Everything's better the rest of the day if you have an inning like that.
No question. 8-0 here in the 4th. There's a lot of game left, Aaron, but especially when it comes to momentum, Arizona State, in my opinion, needs to punch back right now. They need to answer. They don't need to obviously get them all back right now, but I really think for Arizona State to have a chance to win this game today, they've got to make sure that they put up something this inning.
I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot of teams this year, and you have too, and been fortunate enough to call a lot of games, but of all the teams in this conference, they may be at the top of the list of a team that can climb out on an 8-hole hole. They really can. They're just that team. They lead the conference in batting average, second in OPS. Only 2 teams have scored more than 470 runs this year. One of them is Oregon State, the other one Arizona State.
And really the conference, how it's set up this year and who's having the most success, it's like I said, this conference hasn't seen as much frontline pitching during this that they have in the past. There's a little bit more depth. The guys are very, very similar, but really the teams that have went on that stretch down the run that have played better baseball, it's because of what they've done on the mound. Even though they got some really good offense, it's that pitching down the stretch that's kind of allowed Arizona, Oregon State, Oregon, right, to continue to stay at the top of the conference.
Tries to slice that one the other way down the line, and it is in play. Hurrying on around. A beautiful approach from McLean. We talked earlier about level swings. That was one of those. And a double.
Yeah, nice job on McLean going the other way. The switch hitter hitting in the middle of the lineup and gets Arizona State going exactly what they need in this inning.
He surprised himself. He made the contact he wanted to make, but wasn't sure if it was going to be fair. It was not even close. It was well fair. That's a really tough thing to do.
Well, he can hit.
My goodness, he was born to hit, wasn't he?
Yeah, some guys just have those hitterish qualities, and when you're on the scouting side of things, you've got to evaluate power, Darren. You got the ability to hit and all those types of things. But sometimes when you're watching players, you're just saying, that guy can hit, man. That guy can hit. And McLean's one of those guys that can hit.
When I think a moment like that is where it really stands out. That wasn't big exit velocity. That wasn't pulled in the gap or in the alley. That's not a homer. It's a hit. It's a double.
And, you know, when he gets down the count a little bit, he shortens up a little bit. He wants to put the ball in play. A lot of times, you know, these kids' heroes are the guys they watch on TV, and there's just so much swing and miss in the game right now. They think it's okay to swing and miss. With the college game, contact wins, and you're trying to put as much pressure on your defense as you can, and that strikeout's not very tough on that defense.
Pitch count manageable, as you can see, for Christian Lim. It's at 59.
Yeah, he's going to be well into 100 today. Like I said, he'll have 100. So if he can get himself into that 6th or 7th inning, which is exactly what Coach Blomqvist said, if we get that lengthy start, we feel like we have a chance. And Stanford feels the exact same way.
Beat up Moore, and the runner moves to third as Moore couldn't keep it with him. Wild pitch there by Christian Lim.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of a cross-up right there. Wasn't sure where that pitch was going to be, but...
Let's go, 1-8!
Tobias walked back in the first inning. 3-2. Jacob did not love that call from Mike Victor, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, he thought he had ball 4 right there.
Some good men in blue today, some A-teamers, if you will. Breaking ball, fly ball. That should play to run. McDonald will hurry it back in. Head first slide, RBI. Donnie Marvin, our great analyst and our resident head coach, said you got to start chipping away. There's one.
Yeah, nice job right there by Arizona State, but on the other side, nice job by Lim. Obviously, you know, all of a sudden you give up the double, then he gets to third on the ball, and all of a sudden if he walks that man, now it's 1st and 3rd, and there's something brewing for Arizona State. So now he's got his out, nobody on base, settle back in and try to just put up 1. If he can get 1 right here, that's a win for Stanford.
You're fine with 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The crooked ones are the ones that hurt you.
That double by McLean is, we take this game in now in the 4th inning, was the first hit of the game for ASU. Brandon Compton lined to short. Oh, and 2 the count. Pac-12 Freshman of the Year with just huge numbers, and congratulations. And look at, he's joined his team and helped to carry that big offense. What a way to finish, hitting almost 500 since late April.
Yeah, that's the way to win that award, isn't it? Down the stretch when your team needs you the most, and obviously driving the ball to the park, driving runs in. Great freshman year, and congratulations to him for that. What a fine award.
1-2 the count. Compton, senior year, last year, Arizona, Buckeye High School, hit almost 600, hit 6 home runs for Coach Kevin Battaglia.
Who knows how good a player he's going to become, but when he stands up there, he reminds me of a former Sun Devil, Darren, Cole Calhoun. He's kind of got that Cole Calhoun other than the redhead, right? Cole had the red hair, but I'm telling you what, he had that same similar type of setup, body type, same type of swing, good-looking player.
Cole had a long major league career.
Sure did.
Good pitch in. Let's try to tie him up with that fastball. But we're seeing Compton do what great hitters tell you they try to do. If it's not their pitch, but it's close, they just spoil it.
You've got to get to the next one, right? Just got to live for another pitch, and hopefully Lim makes a mistake.
Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Compton. Couple of hops to the second baseman, Owen Cobb. 2 outs.
when I'm doing these games, Darren, I like to tell you, hey, what pitch is coming next, or I like to think what pitch is coming out. The one thing about Lim is I never have any idea what pitch he's going to throw. Right? I think he's got the confidence and the ability to throw 3 or even 4 pitches in any count. Right? And I think that's what makes him really, really successful, is that you just don't know what pitch is coming against him.
Numbers there. He wants to keep that in check. As we were talking about, give his team 6 innings. Ethan Mendoza goes after the first pitch right by his dugout. Becerra runs out of room. 0-1 the count on Ethan Mendoza. Mendoza, great actions. Bit of an old soul, if I'm going to listen to what Donnie was saying about him earlier. One of the reasons his dad, a coach, his dad founded Texas Sticks East, a really good travel baseball program. His dad was his assistant coach at South Lake Carroll High School, so a lot of baseball just talked at home all the time.
Absolutely. And he plays like that, right? You can tell he's a coach's kid, or he's got that type of background. Grinder, tough type of player that as he gets older, he'll get bigger and stronger, and he'll single like he just hit right there will turn into doubles and home runs.
Mendoza with the single, his first hit. He had struck out back in the second inning, had Ethan.
And I'm just really glad that Ethan's hitting over 300, Darren, instead of like right over 200, because we'd have that Mendoza line talking about quite a bit today, and I just hate talking about it.
No, he's got his own Mendoza line. His is 3+.
Yeah, no question.
Harris Williams, he also struck out back in the second inning. That's when Lim struck out the side. He zips a fastball, inner half, 0-1 the count. Harris from Denver, Colorado. Transferred in from University of San Francisco. Had a huge year there last year. Big, big numbers. Also an elite soccer player in high school. That breaking ball wide. Lim graduated high school, then went out and played in a collegiate summer league after his senior year of high school last year. That's rare.
Yeah, and it's actually becoming the norm now there, just because, you know, guys are playing so soon, right? And also with the transfer portal, is that when these freshmen do get on campus, they're most often, especially in conferences like this, they're playing with such older guys. So for a freshman to be able to have success when he first shows up on campus, he has to do something just a little bit different to get himself ready.
Just got a piece of that one. He went and pitched in the West Coast League, went up to Portland. 28, he had just graduated high school, went into a collegiate league, pitched 28 and a third innings. Struck out 37, pitched to a 2.2 ERA. Boy, that's got to do a lot for your confidence.
And that's a good league. You got a lot of quality players in that league. So, and just to be on a college routine, playing with college type players, probably pitching to guys that are a little bit more at his level. So, like I said, that's not rare anymore. It's definitely going to kind of be the norm.
They're pesky this inning. Really, really are. Klein fouling off some pitches. Compton doing the same. Making quite a few pitches. Mendoza spoiling a pitch. This inning is shortening the game. It really is shortening Lim's ability to stay out there.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not about beating the starting pitchers. We get that starting pitcher out so we can beat up the bullpen, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. The longer that Lim stays out there, the advantage goes towards Stanford's dugout.
Breaking ball. He will stay out there. And a big, big strikeout that time. 5 Ks in the scorebook. He and his mates up 8-1. The Pac-12 baseball tournament is presented by Rawlings. Champions choose Rawlings. Great moments already as we open the Pac-12 tournament here in Scottsdale, Arizona. the winter and spring home of the San Francisco Giants, and a gorgeous yard, a classic part of town. And of course, Pac-12 fortunate to have created a good partnership and a wonderful event. And so we celebrate this conference, its rich history, its national championships, its pros and its former pros. Donnie Marbut, Darren Sutton, and you, thanks for being with us. Trevor's had a good day. Mr. Haskins digs in for Stanford. A single and a double. He scored a run as well. He's got that I'm using my leverage approach, standing straight up in the box.
Yeah, really narrow stance. Does a good job of staying inside the ball. Lacks a little bit of extension there, but a good player. And what I really like is that he's not that really bouncy, athletic shortstop, but what he is a guy that really secures the ball. If it's hit to him, he's going to catch it.
He walked him off last June. Regionals against Texas State was a 9th inning signal and a super. A 4-3 win, a moment you'll never forget. He had one of those. 3 for 10 in the ASU series. They lost them all in that series, but he was 3 for 10. Trevor Haskins, the son of Debbie and Bruce. Outside. Top half of inning number 5. As Giblin sees that roll right by him, but Ondina plays shortstop behind him, and that's the good news. So it was a late partnership, Willie Bloomquist and Stephen Ondina. As a matter of fact, it was August that he came through the portal, and he came from Florida International. He's been a really good glove.
Yeah, anytime that you want to try to win a championship and move on, you got to have that guy at shortstop that can make the plays. And with Arizona State definitely has that guy. And think about this: if you're a young player transferring or just being recruited in general, and you got your head coach is Willie Bloomquist, a former Sun Devil legend, as well as an unbelievable Major League Baseball player. You know, as a utility player, play lots of positions, but to be able to be coached by him has got to be pretty intriguing.
It was great that they found one another. It was late for both. Willie had the need. Ondina was maybe panicking a little bit. It's August and I still haven't found my destination.
That's the one thing about the portal. You know, we talk about the guys that have transferred, Darren, but if you look in that portal, you know, 10% transfer, there's a lot of kids in there that don't find a home. So before they decide to leave what they have, they better go in that portal understanding that, you know, there's no guarantees.
3-1 the count. Giblin finds that strike zone. Jake Sapien grounded out. He walked and he scored. Back out there again. 6'4", 230 this right-handed pitcher. Boy, does he look the part. Big, broad shoulders.
Yes, he sure does. And we talked about the starting pitcher being out there a long time. We need him to be out there as long as he can, too. There's a lot of baseball to be played this weekend, and bullpens are going to get taxed. So even though this is an 8-1 game, if it doesn't change much, I know coach is going to want him to get out there and throw his 60 to 70 pitches.
So it's funny you'd say that his last 3 outings have been those type of outings where he's been needed earlier in a game, and he's given his team in succession 5 innings out of the pen, 3 innings out of the pen, 2 2/3 out of the pen. And by the way, Donnie, in those 3 outings combined, just 1 run overall.
Yeah, and I try to educate people on the situation of why coaches throw certain guys, right? They try to throw, like I said, you can't, especially in a tournament like this, or even a 3-game series on the weekend. It's not just about one game. You're trying to win a series. You're trying to win this tournament. So, like I said, they're going to manage their bullpen efficiently so that, they, like tomorrow and the next day, they've got all hands on deck.
Jake driven back to the bag. And those outings, by the way, for Giblin against Washington, 5, 7 strikeouts, no runs. At Stanford, 3, no runs, 5 strikeouts. And then Texas Tech, as he pours that one in there, 2 2/3, just 1 run allowed. So he has been really dependable, kind of a swing man. And whether you're up and you need those extra innings or down, those extra innings, as you said, are so valuable.
course, you know, in a 3-game series, you got 27 on the weekend. You're just trying to find a way to get those 27 outs and trying to win games. I remember one time early in my career at Washington State, we went to Arizona and we got beat there in like 27-4 on a Friday night. We won the series. We won Saturday and Sunday, but we got outscored by 10 on the weekend. Everyone's like, "How you feel?" I'm like, "I feel really happy."
Great.
Yeah, we just won the series, so I'm happy about that.
Tied him up very nicely. Not a great feed, but Undina turned it into a double play anyway. Ethan Mendoza, the shortstop, made a nice play on a hard hit ball. This one nearly slipped away. I got you, partner. 4-6-3 double play. Christian Lim, so far today. Donnie, what have you seen?
Like I said, he's just kind of been who he is. Every time I've seen him, this is kind of who he is. Darren, he'll throw multiple pitches for strikes. It's not like he's going to be first pitch fastball. He's got the good breaking ball. He's just as effective against left-handers as he is against right-handers. As you can see right there, he's a passionate young man. He's competing his tail off.
You see the last time out against ASU, he gave up 5. He walked 5, and he'll tell you that's maybe part of the problem. Look, that's 13 base runners you're dealing with in 5 innings. That's too many.
Yeah, and when you're facing a team like Arizona State and you're giving them free ones, you know they're going to get that big swing. They're going to take a big swing, and when they do, you want them to have a big swing with nobody on, right? When you're walking 5 guys, there's just too much traffic.
So you've got a feeling as this lineup is so dangerous at the top that this is the inning. I mean, obviously Campos, you'll have to get Campos to end the inning. But for this left-handed pitcher, as he works towards 80 pitches, should he go back out in the 6th, it means he had a clean inning this inning. ASU gets to the top of the order. Heman Lance hits now instead of Karstetter. But if they can make it their inning, get it back to the top, a couple of base runners, this is where the game could turn on a dime. This inning right here.
Absolutely. They know Arizona State knows they have the offense, right? They know they can put up a crooked one really, really quickly. They can cut this lead in half.
Heman Lance, Santa Clara transfer. Fairfax, California, went to Sir Francis Drake. He has always been known for his power. Big power numbers throughout his career. Slugs about .550 in his college career. More than 20 home runs. Kind of a below-the-radar guy, but gosh, he can do damage.
Yeah, strong, and he's got a quick bat. He's trying to hit it in the air.
That's not what Lim wanted. And now Steven Ondina. Steven walked back in the 3rd inning. Steven is from Puerto Rico. Urabo in Puerto Rico. This is travel ball for a really respected group down in the PR, IBA. International Baseball Academy. Luis Castro runs that group, at least when he was there.
Arizona State could really use what Odino does, right? He gets on base, right? He's one of those guys that's not a big strikeout type guy. If you can get on base here, and you got a chance for Campos to get up with runners at 1st and 2nd, I like Arizona State's chances of putting up a crooked one this inning.
No balls and 2 strikes to count. It's been on the pro radar for quite some time. His gloves, certainly. 3 or 4 years ago, they were talking about the draft a lot with him, and boy, what a key time for a hitter that is aggressive by nature, but to put him away, big strikeout.
Yeah, Lamb does a really nice job right there pulling the string, and changeup's his best pitch, and he has the ability to throw it on both sides of the plate, so credit him in that situation. He's a big strikeout.
Here comes the thunder and lightning, all in a row now. Got 5 in a row hitters with double-digit home runs, and the most patient of them all is right here.
Yeah, really in this situation, the only thing Stanford's really got going for him for the most part, they got left-hand hitters coming up.
Boy, nice play. He shoveled that ball out in front of him, that outstretched glove. That could have easily skipped on by him. That eye with a nice play, and right away realized I've only got one out and it's behind me.
Yeah, there's no reason to compound mistakes. It's good to be aggressive, but hey, let's make sure because right now you're just getting outs. It's only 8-1, but you're in the big scheme of things, Darren. They're counting outs here.
Golden.
Yeah, they're just trying to count outs, and they're trying to get out as quickly as they possibly can.
Hey, you're up 8-1, and you're putting outs in the books in the 5th, and you still have that 7-run lead. Those are valuable outs.
Yeah, no reason to try to do something special. You know, that's what happened to Arizona State. You know, in the 4th, when they put the big 8 spot, it was, hey, make a walk, you throw the ball away at the plate, you get another boot here, and next thing you know, there's an 8 spot up there. Last thing Stanford wants that. They'll give up one, but they just don't want to give up the crooked one.
This inning started with a walk to Eamon Lance, and you found yourself concerned for Christian Lim. Meantime, he now is a couple of pitches away from getting back in the dugout. And we'll see if he comes back out for the 6th. He's about to go over 90 pitches.
He's more physical than most freshmen, because that's just kids are, as you watch there with the circuit and all the things you do, the kids are just bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. But he actually reminds me of a former Sun Devil, the people in the Valley will remember, Josh Sato, left-hander. They're very similar type guys. Josh was a little bit thinner, he didn't have the same type of build as Lamb, but the stuff was pretty similar, right? You had the fastball, you had the curveball, the changeup, you elevate up, go down below the zone. So both guys really knew how to pitch.
Hitters count 2-0. Incredibly dangerous hitter in Kian Vu. Outside. Vu, when he graduated, was the 48th ranked outfielder in California. Boy, he's climbed up all those lists.
Yeah, he sure has.
Extended that zone just a little bit. 3-1 the count.
Even on some of the punch outs Arizona State's had, obviously they're not swinging the bat great today. I love their approach. They're all balanced. They're not a big bunch of swing and miss. You're going to strike out, sure, but I really like what Arizona State does with their hitters.
That one's low, and it's ball 4. Two runners on in front of Nick McLean. Heron warming in the pen for Stanford. Torian O'Haron getting ready quickly. Time to buy a little time. Discuss the situation, a visit to the mound as the bullpen continues to work and get ready. Thomas Eager, one of the great chats, one of the great pitching coaches to talk with. This is Christian Lim through the order today. First time, very, very good. Second time, and second plus through the order. A couple of walks added too, but no hits allowed. Donnie, I feel like now, although you cross that bridge, if you get it back in the dugout, we've reached the, let's just get him through this inning, because I think, I don't know, maybe you and I have seen too many games, but I feel like ASU is just an inch away from breaking out.
Yeah, they are, and then, let's not dance around it, Darren. Stanford doesn't love the back end of their pen right now. Pitching's been a problem this year. They've got really talented guys. They're probably just a little bit too young to have great success this year, so I know if he's feeling good, he might go a little bit longer than that. That 100 pitch, mark's kind of the magic mark for pitching coaches. But like I said, if he can get through this inning, there's a chance he might end up going back out.
Made a good pitch to Nick McLean, a breaking ball that just got a piece of the inside corner.
If he goes back out, or if he gets out this inning, he's going to have to throw some good pitches, because McLean's the type of guy that if you throw a bad pitch, he can hurt you.
Went back to that breaking ball, nearly hit him. As a matter of fact, too far in, it did hit him. Yeah, that cleaned him, that got him. Here come these Devils, this is how it starts. Now you got Jacob Tobias, big power. Clip that back leg.
Yeah, I kind of got just a little bit too in on him. This is probably the better matchup. McLean's obviously a better. I like McLean more from the left side than I do the right side, so it wasn't a horrible matchup. But I do like this matchup, Lim versus a left-hander here, than I did versus the right-handed hit McLean.
Jacob, 18 home runs this year, the Bakersfield native. 1-0 the count.
Yeah, we talked about getting strike one's key there, and he fell behind 2-0. There's nowhere to put him here. I want to see, I'll be surprised to see if he's got the confidence to throw a secondary pitch right here.
He did, and a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely. For the freshman to be able to go 2-0 against Tobias in the Pac-12 tournament with the bases loaded and the guy up there with 18 home runs, needs to throw that pitch, but the ability to land it's something different.
So now the count is 2-1. Outside. There's been a couple of times where Lim has reacted as if to say, how did he take that one? He took it like he knew it was coming. Especially 2 pitches ago. Bases full, the 3-1. Breaking ball inside. That's ball 4. The Devils get another one. Still a long ways to go, but it's 8-2.
Yeah, a little surprised right there, just on the plate, on the pitch call right there, Darren. I thought I got a lot of the white right there, but obviously we don't have as good a view as the umpire did. It seemed like it was a pretty good pitch.
Abe will come down, talk with Coach Eager, and they'll make a decision. They're going to go to the pen. So he couldn't get himself through as he hits 100 pitches through this 5th inning. He has, though. He has left with his team up 6. Can it stay there against a red-hot team? 8-2 is the number. But it's an ASU team that has proven that they can just throw a match right in there with lighter fluid, and this is what is going on this season. An ASU record. Think about the history, the historic teams, a record 101 home runs.
Yeah, that really surprised me. I know it's a good offense, but to be able to, like you said, Darren, to set a record for the history of the program for home runs, a little bit surprising me. What an unbelievable offensive season that the Sun Devils are having.
And it becomes a mindset. Well, you tell me, it feels like it becomes a mindset as O'Haron goes to work. If you do it enough, meaning come back in games and score big in those comebacks, you never really start to panic. You just believe you can do it, right?
Absolutely. It goes that way on the other side, too. When the other team has a closer, that's the dominant guy, their team knows it's over. The opponent knows it's over, right? But on the offensive end, a team like Arizona State, they're thinking, hey, we've done this before, right? This is not a big deal. And you know, especially in the world that we live in now there with social media, nothing's hidden anymore, right? So everybody knows what everybody's doing, right? So Stanford's very, very well aware that Arizona State's got the offense. They've come back numerous times.
Torrin O'Haron comes out for the 23rd time this year. A bunch of strikeouts in 38 innings of work. And he'll tell you way too many walks with 27, a 4.97 ERA. He's a sophomore out of Rockland, California.
Yeah, this is an arm strike right-handed that has the ability to walk you. He also has the ability to strike you out. When he's at his best, he's one of the better arms in this conference. He just got to find some more consistency.
Devils, their fans. And there's a battle back. That was a beard.
Good time, good time for the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year to show why he won that award, Darren.
The man is Brandon Compton, and Brendan has rounded out. He is lined out, 1-0 the count. Saw the giddy up on that first fastball. That was Donnie. He was telling you about that, but it missed wide. It's a big, big arm. 1-1.
Yeah, there's not a lot of finesse with O'Haron. He's going to come at you, and he's got really good stuff. He's just had some problems with just getting behind the count, too, as well, walking too many guys that leads to the big inning. Well, he didn't have the opportunity to walk him right here, Darren. He's going to come right at him.
1-2 the count.
If he can get a punch out here or just get him out in general, Darren, I got a feeling there's going to be big energy coming out of that Stanford dugout. This is a big situation right here.
Yeah, this inning you felt a turning point in the game.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
really did.
Right now, it's just giving up the single.
All 4 pitches, mid-90s, all of them fastballs.
Yeah, base hit in the gap here is going to score all 3. Obviously, a big swing here with the home run. Cut this to 8-6, but like I said, momentum will definitely be on Stanford's side if they can somehow get out of this.
He got it, pulled the string. Beautiful changeup, all fastballs until the last pitch to strike out Compton. Lim done, O'Haron on. See if he can give Coach Esker and the Cardinal another inning of work. It's 8-2. Malcolm Moore do a 4th in this inning. Donnie Marvin, he homered twice in the 4th.
Yeah, that's why he's one of the top prospects in the country. Like I said, they tried to challenge him early in the game, went deep, and had a base open. They tried to challenge him again, and he hurt him for a 2nd time. Great day so far for Malcolm Moore, offensively and behind the plate.
Yeah, you see that beautiful throw that he fired down there earlier. The Athletic and Keith Law releasing their mock draft, if you will, and you see Travis Mazzana first, former Cardinal and now at Texas A&M, Braden Montgomery 9th, and Malcolm's there in the 1st round too.
Yeah, not surprising. Obviously, the Pac-12 has been a breeding ground for future Major League Baseball players, and no question in my mind, those 3 players that were just on the board, they will all be in a big league uniform one day very soon.
So this year's draft, and I want Donnie to affirm this for me, or tell me I'm wrong, either one, but this year's draft is really, as Court McDonald to lead it off for Stanford, going to be college heavy, correct?
Yeah, and you're going to see that majority of the time. I mean, college players are a little bit more safe. Obviously, there's a little bit more history that Major League clubs have when it comes to that. And with only 20 rounds, right, it's changed a little bit. There's no short season or rookie ball anymore. So it's more of a college draft anyways, and I think that's probably the way it should be.
Great place to develop players in college baseball. Us college baseball fans like that.
Yeah, the facilities and all the work, that, the money that's been dumped into college baseball programs there, they have an opportunity to be successful and to grow there too. But some people's path is the major league route. So it kind of depends on who you are and what you're looking for. And like I said, there's going to be great high school players and Latin players and college players. And that's why it's called the big leagues. It's the greatest players in the world to play in that league.
2-1 the count. Swing and a miss, good fastball. Jonah snuck it right by him. Some of the outliers that won't make it to college, respectfully, in all likelihood. One of them here, very local, actually a Scottsdale resident. His name is Cam Caminetti.
Yeah, I've seen him. There's not a lot of left-handers in the country that throw the ball the way he does, so I assume, right, that he'll be a high pick in the Major League draft that comes in July.
He's a two-way player, but the arm is what Donnie's talking about, Caminetti. Scottsdale, again, we're in Scottsdale. Scottsdale Saguaro High School. He's an LSU commit. Sorry, Jay, I don't think he makes it to you. And what makes him unique is that one is rolled and recovered. I'll take it to the bag, says that beautiful defensive play there. Nice job sticking with it, putting his nose on it. But anyway, to finish the thought, what's unique about Caminetti, and you see a good defensive play, Eamon Lance puts his nose on it, is that Caminetti was supposed to be a junior. He's very young. He classed up, and he's still going to be picked that high.
Yeah, baseball is definitely, you want, father time on your side, right? So the older they get, it doesn't benefit you. So probably for his career, if you're physically and emotionally mature enough to start your career as soon as you possibly can is a benefit.
I don't have Keith's list in front of me, but the graphic was a great storyteller. I'm guessing somewhere on that list too is another player who's going to be a high school player that doesn't make it to campus. Again, an LSU commit, Connor Griffin. He is out of Mississippi. He is a talented, well, he can play just about anywhere, middle infielder, outfielder, but he's another one that was supposed to be a junior, but aged up and reclassified, and he's going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, he's special. And you'll see on the circuit this summer with all the things that you do, Darren, there's a left-handed pitcher up in the Portland area named Cruz Schoolcraft. And Cruz I actually played junior college with his dad, and he is reclassified too as well. So he started the year as a sophomore. Now he's a junior, so he'll be draft eligible to the 2025 class. So it's another reclassification. My guess is that high school league that he plays in is very happy about that. You don't have to see that guy for one more year.
Jimmy Nadai takes a pretty good pitch with 2 strikes. Cruz Schoolcraft was Perfect Game's 14U National Pitcher of the Year. And he'll be a Perfect Game All-American this summer with that news. That one's fouled off. That he's reclassed.
Yeah, I saw him about a month ago, and it was everything that you could dream about. You know, if I was 6'8", left-handed, and could throw 95 and throw a great changeup and a breaking ball, that's exactly how I would have done it too, Darren.
You wouldn't be sitting here with me.
No.
Breaking ball popped up. Let's watch the communication. Boy, nice job. So that's twice. I mean, obviously he came on after he hit even Lance and moved himself into that first base spot with Tobias. And a couple of nice plays this inning.
Absolutely. He had a good at bat last inning to lead it off. And all of a sudden on the other side of the diamond, using his glove and making 2 really nice plays to start the inning off for the Sun Devils.
Good breaking ball, swung right over the top of it. And Tobias, by the way, moved over and is playing third base. Jacob over there at third. It's a pretty good defensive flex by Jacob there.
I don't know what you think, but after the double, obviously gives up the base hit right there. But after the double, I kind of feel like Giblin's he's kind of settled in a little bit, right? I think he's obviously feeling a little bit. He's got the breakable and the fastball going there, so doing a good job of just keeping it right there.
That's what you're talking about. The ability to hand Willie a bunch of innings is key, especially with an offense that can come back. Here's Malcolm Moore.
Yeah, the offense has been so good, and that's what's kind of hidden the pitching difficulties, Darren. I mean, they've got a 6.6 ERA on the season, so it hasn't like Arizona State hasn't had fantastic pitching. They've had fantastic offense and inconsistent pitching. So that's when, like I said, you get the 6 or 7 inning start that Coach Bloomquist was talking about, and it really changes when you're playing Arizona State.
1-0 the count on Malcolm Moore. Didn't mean to, checks his swing and he rolls it foul. You've got Jacob Cozart, who's a catcher at NC State. He's going to be a high draft pick. You've got Caleb Lomavita, familiar name, right? Baseball fans out west. He's at Cal. He's a Hawaiian. He is going to be a catcher taken very highly. Walker Janik is a catcher at Sam Houston State. And, of course, Malcolm Moore out of Stanford. Some of the best catchers in college baseball.
Yeah, I mean, both sides right now. Campos will be a good pick too, Darren. Like I don't see him being that first-round pick like Malcolm Moore and those other guys, but if you look up and down this conference, you know, Campos and Arizona State's going to be a good pick, and Bennett Thompson will be a good pick. You know, Oregon State's got a couple guys back behind the plate with Tanner Smith and Wilson Weber. So if you happen to be at the Pac-12 tournament this year in Scottsdale, you're going to see some really good catching.
Giblin cleans it up nicely, getting Malcolm Moore. They're having fun in the stands with foul balls. We're having fun in the desert. And so is Stanford. Can hit, and they have done so. And Donnie and I talked about it, Donnie Marvin, Darren Sutton. It starts to become a mindset. Look, this is their last 3 games, and they were down each time, and they won each time.
Yeah, that's exactly. All that's very, very inexpensive experience for the Sun Devils, right? They found a way to come back. Might be a little bit tougher here, but they've seen it, they've done it in the past, and we all talked about they've got the offense to do it.
Tanner completes his warm-up tosses. And away we go. Or Torin, I should say, my apologies. For once has he been named Tanner, not earlier today, not last night. But O'Haron is ready to go. O'Haron throwing hard even when he was a young athlete. Saw him play at events. He was throwing 92, 93 miles an hour back in high school. He played at a great event in Jupiter, Florida, which gathers all the great high school and travel team players in the fall in October. Played for a really good national team, the Canes, the name of his team. And Gosh, back in 2020, this right-hander was throwing 92 miles an hour.
Isn't it great during the exposure how youth amateur baseball has just blown up? You can see these guys, like I said, when they're 13, 14 years old, and then to be able to watch them when they're 20, 21 years old and watch the maturation, and just, like I said, they're throwing hard. I mean, he's probably throwing 94, 95 right now, but he was throwing 92 4 years ago, right? So they just learn how to pitch a little bit better, and their secondary stuff usually gets a little bit better.
And part of a journey for a pitcher like Torin is that he's been taking care of his classwork. He did it back those days in 2020. He's doing it now. That fastball is a fly ball, right field, still drifting, just shy of the track. Sapien is there. That ball carried further than I thought. But again, it's Arizona, so it's going to carry. You mentioned it earlier when we were talking about outs in the 4th and the 5th. Now you get that 6-run lead. Now you're really thinking, okay, boy, outs are just worth so much. One then another, you don't take it for granted at all.
Yeah, and Coach Eagers, he's going to figure out what pitch he throws the most for strikes, right? He's going to just try to pound the strike zone. In this situation, Arizona State, if they come back and win the game, Stanford's got to make them earn it. The last thing you want to do is walk guys and make errors. You want to put it on the plate and make sure that they get hits to earn their way back in it.
And these are all really good hitters. That's the thing about the depth of ASU's lineup. That being said, it's 6, 7, 8. I mean, if you want to win this game with their comeback ability, you need to go 1, 2, 3.
No question. You're counting hitters and you're counting outs, and there's 27 to get. We all know those last 3 are always the most difficult to get. There's a reason why in the big leagues they pay guys a lot of money just to get those last 3 outs.
You want to live in denial. For as long as you can, you want to act like the top 5 hitters aren't in the lineup. They're so good for ASU, so when you've gotten past them and survived, you got 6, 7, 8, and even 9. I mean, dream scenario, you're leading off next inning with the 9 hitter. Harris chases up, 3-2 the count. Harris Williams last year at San Francisco homered 9 times. He's got great speed should he get on. More than 50 career stolen bases. Outside, just off the plate. Bats like that, so crucial for a dangerous offense. Eamon Lance now. Walked and scored back in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Lance has got strength to his swing too. Coming off the bench here, it's a nice at-bat last at-bat with a walk. Made 2 good plays defensively. Now he's got an opportunity here, hit one in the gap and cut this thing to 8-3.
It's not in the gap. That's sailing way up and out of here. That lands in Cave Creek. Goodbye.
He had an opportunity to cut to 8-3 there, but he said, no. Let's cut this thing to 8-4.
A career loaded with power, a college career where he was always doing damage, and he does it again. Now we've got a ball game. They're within a grand slam.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit scary for Stanford. Arizona State, even though it's not their home park, Darren, you know, they've got more fans here than obviously Stanford. They're getting comfortable. They've come back and won games in the past. Stanford's had a hard time of closing games, right? So this is when it gets a little bit hairy for the Cardinal.
Steven digs a breaking ball in and off the plate. 1-0 the count.
I expect the bullpen to get going for Stanford a little bit. Game 1 here. And
Steven shoots that right back behind home plate. Steven walked back in the 3rd inning, struck out in the 5th.
well, Aaron's got good stuff there, but you can tell though they're not scared of the fastball, right? They're on it right now. They're taking some really good swings on it.
The dugout is alive. First base dugout, and again these home on a neutral yard, but still a home field fans.
Yeah, Arizona State right now with that home run, they're definitely feeling good about their chances of getting themselves back in this game.
That was a cool shot, by the way, as we shot the dugout. Everyone encouraging top step right there leading the charge was the starting pitcher, Connor Markle, in our last shot. And I think that's so neat to have that. All right, my day's done. I wish I could have done different, could have done more, but let me cheer for my mates now.
Yeah, it's so different than the big leagues, right? Your 56-game season, college season, they're trying to win all of them, right? That's their, in Arizona State, they're in a situation, they're kind of a, you know, even though we're pool play right now, it's kind of lose or go home for the Sun Devils too as well. They've got to really do some damage in this conference tournament or win this conference tournament to push themselves into the NCAAs, where I know Coach Bloomquist wants to get this program back to.
Coach Eager will make the call to the bullpen. Devils trying to scrap their way back into this one against the Cardinal. Trevor Moore, the sophomore, he got the call, and he will trot on. And we'll step aside. 1 out in the inning, 1 run on. 8-4 the number. Round robin play, and after this, Roxy and West will be taking you home a couple of games into the evening. Utah, USC, Washington, Cal. And Cal's been a great story this year with what they've done from beginning to end, certainly.
Yeah, they've had some big wins. You know, they swept UConn, they swept Oregon State. I mean, they've had some really good things going for them. Coach No does a really nice job with that Cal program, playing 2 freshmen up the middle, young guys up the middle. Got the great catcher behind the plate. They're like I said, every team that you talk about that's here, there's a fight and argument, Darren, why they could win the thing. You know, even though obviously, you know, the favorites are going to be the Oregon States, and Arizona, the top 3 teams in the league. There's definitely an argument for the other 6 teams that are here that have a chance to win it.
Trevor Moore, 52 1/3, 52 strikeouts in his 26th appearance of the year. Moore's from Golden, Colorado, just a second-year college player, went to Mullen High School.
He's got a big fastball. It's a little bit straight when he comes at you. He's got a strikeout pretty. I mean, shows he's got the stuff, but he also gives up the same amount of hits. So he's missing to the middle of the plate too much. But he's definitely got a big arm.
We're still 20 years old. Hit all over the field as a high schooler. Go back 3 years, back in 2021, he was even back then throwing 91 miles an hour. Heading into his senior year. We're in trouble here dealing with Campos at just 1 out. Ryan is 0 for 2 with the walk.
Campos not a big ground ball guy. I know he'd love to get a double play here, but that's really not Campos's, you know, MO. He hits the ball in the air quite a bit, so I know the Sun Devils would like a big one in the air here.
That one on the ground, but it's foul, first base line.
Just love baseball, Derek. Just look at body types. I've been looking at Campos. You just met Campos on the side of the street. You wouldn't think, hey, I'm one of the best hitters in college baseball. And he is, right?
If he told you he was an All-American catcher, one of the best hitters, you're exactly right, in the sport, at the amateur level.
Yeah, you definitely bet that he wasn't, just by not passing the eye test. But what a great player he is.
Counting stats get lost sometimes, but it makes noise when you say that Campos has 83 hits this year, along with 39 walks. 1 college season. That's how many times he's been on.
Yeah, that's a career for some guys.
Went around. Boy, what a hammer that was. Interestingly enough, his predecessor out there on the mound couldn't get that breaking ball over. This was a good one.
Yeah, really good breaking ball. 12-6 break ball. It's got a good tumble action. The thing about what the viewers and people need to realize that these guys are going 95, 97 miles an hour. These hitters can hit it. If it's straight, they can hit. They train themselves to hit the ball as hard as you can throw it.
He hits it hard. base hit center field. He loved the breaking ball that time. Up out over the plate. Campos continues on an incredible college career. Runners on first and third, 1 out.
Yeah, it won't get any easier here for the Cardinals. Now you got Kian Vu up, and obviously we've talked about him today in length. Hitting 427 on the season with 14 home runs.
Look at that turn, touch the inside of the bag. Great angle heading to third. Kian reached on a fielder's choice, struck out, and walked. Kian Vu, son of Casey and Andrew. San Diego, California. Point Loma High School, 1-0 the count on Kian.
Eight to 4 here with Campos at first, and not a running situation here. You want to make sure that Campos stays at first and keep that 4-hole open. And Vu's not a real double play threat either.
That is a wicked breaking ball. 1-1 the count. He threw that one there. Hitters count 1-0.
Yeah, if he can learn to dump that for a glove strike, right now he's getting more chase on that pitch. But if he can learn to just dump it for a glove strike, he's going to be really effective. This is the type of guy right here, Darren, I can see being the closer for the Cardinals next year.
1-2 the count. Dina was on the bag. Stuck with that throw over once he stepped off.
Just try to keep him honest, I guess.
There it is again. That's strike 3. That's like it's falling down an elevator shaft.
Yeah, that's a really good pitch. Coming off that fastball that he slapped on the top of the strike zone. It's a good 12-6 breaking ball. Big punch out right there against Vu.
Nick McLean doubled, hit by a pitch, line to right field. Trevor Moore from Golden, Colorado. Graduated as the number 8 player overall in the state. He's a 2022 grad. There's the glove strike you were talking about, right into the mitt.
A good pitch right there. It's a defeating feeling as a pitcher, Aaron, when all of a sudden you get a big punch out against Vu, and now you still got to deal with McLean. This offense, there's an embarrassment of riches at the top end of this lineup for Arizona State.
One ball and 1 strike the count. Cincinnati Reds having a tough year. Part of it is a struggling offense, and part of it is this man's big brother hasn't been able to get back and help. Talk about all-star play MVP for Pac-12 alum Matt McLean, Reds middle infielder. Breaking ball, popped up, center field. Hot holds out that right arm, says I've got it, and he puts it away. The Devils do get 2 more. It was a big home run by Eamon Lance. Well, baseball tournament opening contest. A quick summary as we move into the top of the 7th inning. Christian Lim was in the end good. Move that good to serviceable. He'll tell you the 6 walks are a big part of it. Connor Markle scuffled today. His team trying to climb back in. Moore homered twice in a single inning. That eye's been good, and timely hitting, which is the huge, as the kids say, for the Devils. Not today.
No, exactly. You're looking at Lim's line score there, and you wouldn't think he's pitched well, but he really kind of did, right? Got himself into the 5th inning, only gave up 2 hits. The 6 base on balls did hurt him, but that's really, at this point in the season against Arizona State on the road, I would probably consider that a quality start for Stanford.
Yeah, good call. I mean, that's a great perspective from the dugout that you give us. It's a lot of it's about survival in a game like this for a young team that had lost 10 in a row. And you give your head coach nearly 5 innings. You hope to go deeper, but Nothing gets out of hand. And you pitch to the scoreboard. That's only why I think the 6 walks maybe were like, and you bang your head, because pitch to the scoreboard. We've given you a bunch of runs.
Yeah, and I think he did a good job, because I think at least 2 of those pitches, they were unintentional, intentional walks.
Okay.
Right? Kind of where Arizona State did when it came to Moore. They challenged him, and they beat him with the 2-run home run. There's a couple situations where I kind of thought Lim was just pitching to the guy on deck, not pitching to the batter. So credit him for kind of knowing what he wanted to do and who he wanted to get out.
Meantime, the veteran grinder's out there still working. A couple of weeks ago, he went 5 innings out of the pen against Washington. Hit on the line, right to Steven. Glove out in front of that sharp-looking face to protect it, and he puts that one away. He scalded this one right at him.
Yeah, another really nice, good swing. Can't do anything better than that. Just put a good swing on it. Sometimes the game's not fair, Darren, and you line out to the shortstop.
Timo Becerra singled back in the 4th inning. He's 1 of 3 with a run scored. Timo Clovis, California native, Buchanan High School. Has 3 brothers at home, so there are 4 young men in their house, and he's hurrying on around. Took a big aggressive turn, but he's got himself a single, does Timo. He's got a pair of hits today. He was big last year in the postseason. He had 9 hits, hit .321. Currently, with his 2 hits today, is an 8-game hitting streak. Perspective is everything, we know that, but there's nothing at all as the runner takes off. Swung right through. There's a hit and a run that time. The throw kicks away. Baseball came together with the sliding Timo Becerra.
Yeah, Campos had to be quick here. The ball took him a little bit to the right, and he tried to get back and line up. It faded on him a little bit, but nice try to make it close there, but just too much of a good jump.
But just to finish the thought, if you're Timo and you take that hitting streak, you make it 8, 9, 10, you finish things up here, your season. It's such a great feeling to wrap up your season hot.
Yeah, you want to finish on a high note. The majority of the guys will go play summer baseball, so you get that, you get that confidence going into the summer ball, and you feel good about yourself to come back for your senior year in the fall and put another good season together.
Haskins has a couple of hits today. Feel like the zone has been intimate. Strike zone.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, you want the pitches to be called whether they're balls or strikes. You want to just be fair. But this conference tournament does have a history of a bunch of big scores. So the former coach in me and the scout in me sometimes likes when they expand that strike zone a little bit.
Beautiful fastball here. Outer half, 93.
Pinch hitter right here, Darren. Brady Reynolds here, left-handed physical bat.
The gentleman sun hunting out there, trying to get golden. Enjoying hydrating in the sun.
There's just something about when you're at a ballpark there, when you're watching, a dad bring his son to the ball game. It's just something a little bit different. So.
We'll have a conversation in this situation about the man, as you said, with the bat in his hands. Brady, the freshman, has played behind the plate this year, has also played in the outfield like Campos. Campos does the same thing, ASU catcher.
Yeah, just trying to find at-bats for him. It's hard to find at-bats for a guy like Reynolds behind the plate when you got an All-American back there like Malcolm Moore, but you're always, as a coaching staff, you're developing for that next year, because more than likely he'll be gone. And even though Moore is a draft-eligible sophomore, he could come back, but more than likely you would expect him to start his career. Then Brady Reynolds would be the guy next year.
Reynolds, the son of Melissa and Chris, playing international baseball, Team USA at the 15U age group. Liberty High School in Bakersfield, California. That's where the third baseman Jacob Tobias went as well, a couple of years apart. Two and 0 the count.
Reynolds is dangerous too. Doesn't have a lot of bats. They're pretty limited, but there's definitely strength to his swing. He's kind of got that narrow setup. But watch him some BP early. He's got some power. So you miss middle in, he can hit it out of here.
Skies that one center field. Vu, who had broken back, comes back in. He's glad that the entire time Mendoza was on it, the second baseman. They strand a runner. We move along. 7th inning stretch. Beautiful day at the yard. Shade preferred. Sun not bad if you're in that kind of a mood. But it's Scottsdale, Arizona. And it's the Conference of Champions. No conference has produced, not even close, more national champions. And as we say goodbye to the conference as we know it, we're glad you'll be with us all week long for this conference as it currently stands in their final baseball event. Jacob Tobias has had an incredible year. The duo of Bazana and Turley. Turley, just a young sophomore, have been incredible. Mason White, Jacob Walsh down at the bottom of that list. White, a shortstop, a Tucson native, and a fun story. Stop.
They have big time power in this conference. And you know, when you look at the other conferences, the ACC, the SEC, even the Big 12, those three conferences, I've been in a lot of those ballparks there, and those parks play a lot smaller than the West Coast parks. So really, you know, especially like at Oregon in particular with Walsh, you know, with the rain and the weather up there, and as well as Oregon State with Bazan and Turley, they're not just bandbox, they're not just hitting pop-ups out of the park, they're earning those home runs.
8-4 is the number. Counting down outs if you're the Cardinal. Donnie Marbert, Darren Sutton, glad to have you with us.
Yeah, I feel like Morrison's in really good control right now. I think he's doing a good job of locating his fastball away, and he's got that breaking ball, the 12-6 breaking ball. That's a good punch-out type pitch. So he's exactly what the doctor ordered for Stanford.
Sac fly and a couple of walks. Didn't mean to, and he rolls that one foul. Nice little changeup on the outer half. Dan played college football at USC. Jacob played football as well at Liberty High School. Tobias last year had 10 homers. His freshman year had 7. Utes in the house. Good take on a sharp breaking ball.
Yeah, 2-2. I expected to maybe go back with it again here, Darren. Probably not trying to get the full count, but if it gets to 2-2 here, I can see him throwing the breaking ball again and go back to the fastball if he doesn't get it out.
He did, and he went around. Well, that's nasty. He did go back to it. You know your pitch is good when this is in the dirt.
Yeah, he's got some really good hitters in this Arizona State lineup having a hard time with that pitch. Proving what type of pitch that he has in his back pocket.
Trevor Moore rolling on along. 53 and a third inning so far now this year. 54 strikeouts. Here's Compton. Back to that pitch. That one's high.
Yeah, the thing about these last two hitters, they're pretty much the plan is the same there. It's fastball away, breaking ball down. Moore's just kind of throw it in the same spot over and over and over again. Arizona State against Moore, with the fastball, they're going to have to hit the fastball the other way and hope for the breaking ball, right? It stays up a little bit so they can get their barrel out, maybe get something in the air to the pull side.
Couple of strikes on the powerful left-handed hitter. We find ourselves anticipating and waiting for ASU with what we've been accustomed to watching offensively this year. But in this game, they're 4 of 21. They're hitting 190 as a team. Stanford, 12 hits, hitting 364 as a team. And he went around again. Boy, that breaking ball is devastating.
Yeah, it's a really tough pitch to hold off on. And I thought he might have held off just a little bit until we see this again. I felt like he maybe did, but no, just a little bit too much.
Right there to call it. Darren Hyman out there at third. Ramon Armendariz, the second base umpire. Patrick Riley at first. Mike Fichter behind the plate. Here's Ethan Mendoza. ASU 4 hits and 22 at-bats in this game. 1-0 the count. Ethan has one of them. Singled in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I always wonder sometimes too, Darren, when it comes to the tournaments and whatnot, especially even though Arizona State's not playing home, is there more pressure because you've got your home crowd? Right? There's more people coming to support you. You know that your back's against the wall. Arizona State's obviously a very program rich in history, and Coach Bloomquist is trying to get those guys back. But they kind of know without winning this tournament, their postseason chances are probably over. So I wonder if it's more pressure by being home.
Yeah.
3-1 the count on Mendoza.
Hello.
3-2. Mendoza, after he graduated high school last year, went and played in the MLB Draft League, where you have college and high school players. He had 396 in that league. He fouls that fastball back to the screen.
Yeah, he's a fine player, like I said, a good defender, and does all the little things. And like I said, he's got the coach's kid's background. So the next couple of years, I gotta believe he'll be that mainstay, whether he slides on the other side of the diamond and plays short for him. But looks like Arizona State has a really good second baseman for the future.
A couple of fastballs back to back. Fouled back to the screen. Count is full. Does he throw him that hammer breaking ball now?
And does he have the confidence to be able to throw this? He's proven that he can throw it for a glove strike. But does he have the confidence? Because you're trying to get to that next guy on deck.
He threw him a fastball. Maybe even surprised him. Well, that sun is tough and he can't make the play. Haskins with it. You saw the right hand go up as almost as, can I help myself at all? I can't find it. And then it hit the dirt.
You got that high sky, tough to fall. So Arizona State really needs to make that hurt, right? They've got to do something here. That's kind of a gift with that 2-out, basically, dropping a pop up there for the most part, even though he lost it. Arizona State has an opportunity right here to capitalize on that Stanford mistake.
Thomas Eager hops out of the dugout after that occurs. I didn't see if he brought his hook with him or if he just wants to have a conversation.
Yeah, probably got to talk to Malcolm as well. Hey, how's he feeling? Looks like he's got his good stuff going right now. And you're at the bottom part of the lineup. You got 7, 8, 9 with Williams hitting right now. So there's a little bit of flexibility where he doesn't have to necessarily go get him. I think he'd like to be able to, but now he's going to have to.
And so Matt Scott was warming in the pen. We saw him a moment ago. So Matt gets the call. The sophomore right-handed pitcher, big presence coming on. And that's a big breaking ball. Excited about his future. 8-4 the number. We'll step aside. Stanford up. 12, a baseball tournament here in gorgeous Scottsdale, Arizona. Moore drives that one. It disappears. Home run for the Cardinals. Out of here. 2 home runs in a single inning. And first slide. Here come these Devils. This is how it starts. That's sailing way up and out of here. Goodbye. Now we've got a ball game. We're rolling at the tourney. And it's just game 1. Pool B. Oregon State Stanford, then ASU, Oregon State. That's Pool B. We're just getting going in this one, and certainly excited to have you back with us. Donnie Marbut, Darren Sutton, and the man 6'7". It's regulations in Scottsdale. They don't allow tall buildings, skyscrapers. They try and keep it simple like that, but this guy snuck through those regulations. It's a huge man.
Yeah, they grow him big on the farm, Darren. They grow him big on the farm. 100 strikeouts in 74 innings with 33 walks, 4-9 record right now, 14 starts. But this is nice to be able to throw a guy like Scott out of the bullpen. If he can throw it over the plate and get ahead in the count, he can make this game really, really short. Stanford's got a chance to come out away with a victory.
Son of Sandra and Andrew. There are 5 Scott children at home. He has 2 brothers, 2 sisters in Connecticut. Back in 2022, he was the Gatorade Player of the Year.
The other kids are that size, Darren. There's a big grocery bill, I think, at the Scott House up in Connecticut.
All right, Harris Williams.
It's your guy, 1-2, it's your guy.
Second half of the season, the stuff is big, but the second half has been a little bit more of a challenge. You see his ERA gone from about 3.8 all the way up to a little bit over 5. He's had tough outings against UCLA and ASU, Arizona, Cal, Oregon. It's a good opportunity not only to crawl closer to a win, but some pressure experience for this right-handed pitcher who earlier in the year, even a couple times in midseason, has had some big outings.
Experience. A lot of these guys have that experience from last year's postseason run, or last 3 years' postseason run, so they know what big games look like. The moment is usually not too big for a Stanford player with all the history and experience that they have.
67 innings a season ago. Pitched to a 5.1 ERA. Down the middle to Harris.
Nothing more frustrating when you have a guy with a big arm like Scott Darren is when they don't throw it over the plate, right? Because he just, man, it's not like they're not trying. He's trying to, but you just got such good stuff. You just make that opponent beat you, right? Don't just beat yourself. Even though it's a good offense, I'm taking good pitching over good hitting every single time.
As strikeout leaders, you can see how he has stacked them up this year. As he's had outing. He struck out 9 against Fullerton and 5, 7 against Penn State and 7. He went to Rice, 6 one-hit innings and struck out 12. Just about every time out, he is way, way more than a strikeout per inning of work.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, if you can just harness, right, the base on balls a little bit, then he becomes into one of those dominant starters. Right now he's quality, but you become one of those dominant guys when you can throw it right where you want to throw it.
That's tough sledding for him so far since he's come out of the bullpen.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is chase the count.
Bouncing ball, off balance throw, well off the mark. That's an infield hit.
Yeah, definitely a tough play right there by Haskins. I thought the third baseman was going to cut that one off, but looks like maybe Haskins might have called it early. Darren, I'm going to make a bold prediction right here. If somehow Arizona State can turn this lineup over and get to Campos, big trouble for the Cardinals. Right, they got to get this third out right here. Stanford wants to win this game. This right here for me is the most crucial at bat of the game.
And it's Steven, the shortstop, the veteran, to the right side on a line. Owen Cobb shuffles over it. is right into his leather, and it is a huge out at this point in the game with the Cardinal up 8-4. Well, the Cardinal make it clear, we got 8. We're going to make it hold up. We're counting down outs. That's tough to do, though, against ASU. Counting those outs, they just don't grow on trees against a dangerous offense. Number 1 in the conference in batting average. Donnie Marbut, Darren Sutton welcoming you back to the opening contest at the final Pac-12 baseball tournament here in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, well, if I'm Stanford, I'm playing some add-on baseball right here now. You're finding a way, even if, you know, they're not a big bunt team, but right now the Grand Slam ties it up. They can put up another 1 or 2, get that 5 or 6 run lead, allow Coach Esker to breathe a little easier.
And it's back to the top of the order and Owen Cobb. Talking about Giblin, how he could help his team, how he could contribute for later on in the tournament for Willie Bloomquist. He's now out here. He's gone 3 2/3 out of the pen, and he hopes to make it 4 2/3. It's huge. And only 2 runs allowed.
Yeah, unfortunately for Marco, he kind of came in and gave up. Marco's not his runs, right? But after that, he's really settled down, and he's given Arizona State a chance, right? They're 8-4, especially with their offense. They're still in the ball game. It's because of what he's done the last 3 2/3 innings.
Cobb, McDonald, Natai.
The bridge guys are never the guys that are famous. Aaron, you know, like I said, there's just, and think about it, they throw so many more times than the starter, right? The starter, look in the big leagues, the guy will have 30 starts, but you'll see a guy in the bullpen with 60 appearances. But these guys are kind of just the unsung guys that you can never get to the closer. You can never come back for a game if these guys don't do their job.
Big strikeout in an inning where he has to keep it at a grand slam, as you said. And that may be it. It will be 4 innings of work, 2 runs allowed, 4 strikeouts. Stanford bullpen hurries down to do some work. Wonderful contribution to the Sun Devils with them down. Comes in out of the pen. Short outing for the starting pitcher. Fitzpatrick, the unique left-hander, gets the call. 8-4 the score. Giblin done. That's fun. You know, in the world of college baseball, it's fun that there's something like that. A T-shirt with a college player on there, you know, just a couple of days after an incredible catch.
No question. That's the new reality, Darren. Either get on board or go do something different. So I love that Coach Bloomquist had that at his press conference, and what an unbelievable catch. But you don't see that every day.
Oh, he's special, really special player. And he's raw. He's still developing, but excited, really excited about the future of Isaiah Jackson.
Oh, I bet. I grew up in the Northwest, Darren, and watched a guy that played at center field for the Seattle Mariners for a long time named Ken Griffey Jr., and that's kind of what it looked like right there. He made those on a daily basis, it seemed like.
26 2/3, 31 strikeouts. There's a little bit of funk from Fitzpatrick. It's not a comfortable opportunity. There's that incredible athlete. You folks up in the Northwest, you had Griff in the 90s, and you had a veteran, Mike Cameron, come play. So you guys were spoiled.
Oh, no question.
Not really fair to have that much defense. That guy can do it.
And they got one right now that's doing a pretty good job with Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, so
I've heard of. I think I saw him rob a home run just the other night. Yeah, he's a special player. Excited to watch him play center field. And
that's the one thing too I always tell kids that I work with, Darren, is just, you know, because when mom and dad ask you how you played, all they're asking is how'd you hit, right? But there's 2 sides of the game. You got to play defense too. So to see that play by Jackson, that's, you know, that's an RBI with your glove, right? It's not an RBI with your bat, but it's an RBI with your glove.
Gonna get one of those T-shirts though. Let's be honest. Boy, talk about a time when you maybe feel you can climb back into a game and your bullpen gives you a 1-2-3 inning. One of the big reasons you're excited is the top of the order is due up. And number 3 on that list is one of the most dangerous hitters in the country, Nick McClain and his big bat. Is there one last punch in this contest for the Sun Devils? Find out. Go time. For ASU baseball fans, absolutely go time. The comeback kids have done it all year long. They're down 4 What a great way for Stanford on the other side of the coin to come in, losers of 10 straight with a very young team, and start this tournament with a win. That would be massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the momentum's only as good as your starting pitcher, and Stanford got what they needed. They're obviously going to need to get some good pitching here with these last six. I don't believe during these last 6 outs are going to be easy to get by any means. And leading this inning off of this Campos was not something that Stanford's probably too excited about.
It's a swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. Campos leads it off. Ryan, single, a walk. Also lined out and grounded out. One hop, 2 steps, onto the bag. Couple of pitches, and you get an out. That's the way you like it when you only have 5 outs to go.
And when you're counting outs, if they can somehow get a quick one right here, there, and then they're looking, you know, in inning 9, they're looking 4, 5, 6 for the most part. You got the middle of the order, but then you get to that bottom end, is who you really want to go after.
Dangerous team, though, the fastest in program history to reach 100 home runs. By the way, this program's history is pretty good.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I think that's the one thing, you know, playing here, the only maybe non-home field advantages, you don't see all those numbers on the wall, the Barry Bondses of the worlds, and you know, some of those great players that played in this program. So, like I said, I just love that they brought back Coach Bloomquist, obviously being an alumni, having a lot of love and passion for the program. They're definitely going to need that in the new NIL space, transfer portal, leaving from the Pac-12 going to the, you know, to the Big 12. So, definitely got the right man in charge.
1-1 the count on Kean. I recently talked to a recruiting coordinator that realized that we're not going to be able to come up with a lot of the big checks that maybe go with other programs in other parts of the country. But here's what he said. I'm trying to partner with my boosters and my community to make my program not be travel ball. In other words, that you don't pay to play. You don't pay for your tuition. You don't pay. If we can bridge that gap and build that so that everyone that is with our program, and a big strike 3, parents aren't writing checks, and yeah, that's a good starting goal.
No question. And the thing is, it's not a level playing field, right? If you're an in-state player at Arizona State, you know, it's probably $20,000 to $25,000 a year to go to school at Arizona State. But if you're a player going to USC, it's $90,000 a year. So it's truly not an even playing field, and that's what I think sometimes people don't recognize about the 11.7 and the scholarships for baseball.
So far, so very good. We finished a thought there. We didn't mean to step on a big strikeout of Kean Vu.
Yeah, Scott looks like he's got it going a little bit right now. We know that he's got it in him with 100 strikeouts coming in on in this appearance. Strikeout against Vu is never an easy thing to do, and it won't get any easier here with McLean and Tobias, the next 2 hitters.
That's a wicked slider, though, that he threw Vu. Just about untouchable.
Yeah, and that height with that arm slot there, and that just, there's down action to that, so there's a lot of swing and miss when it comes to that pitch. A lot of sliders nowadays, a lot of people are teaching the sweepy slider, right? One that goes right to left or left to right. Well, I'm a big fan of the one that goes down when you're missing barrels, and Scott has that when he's right.
3-1. That one hits the outside corner. Nick doubled, scored, hit by a pitch as well. The other 2 outs in the air. 3-1. That one's in the air to center field. What a huge inning for this right-hander. Against the teeth of this order, Campos, Vu, McLean. Incredible job by Matt Scott, his team up 4. 9th inning now. And that Sun Devil baseball was not rolling last inning. It was definitely a Stanford sort of a moment. Now, still again, you got to get 3 more outs against ASU, and this is, to me, the ultimate time when you'd say against Fitzmagic here that you'd like to add on.
Yeah, exactly, because it won't be easy, those next 3 outs in that bottom half. So, like we talked about before, some add-on baseball, take some good swings, and find a way to scratch another one and just get a little bit of momentum. Arizona State probably, they don't feel great right now, Darren, because they're down, but all of a sudden another couple's kind of puts the nail in the coffin.
Charlie Somm leads things off, the designated hitter. Has been on the radar for a long time. Graduating class of 21, 12th ranked catcher in the country. Takes a good zippy fastball over the inside corner. We're watching Charlie play for the Garcia Parra Baseball Group, GBG, that team's name. And good travel ball representing his part of the world in Thousand Oaks. And by the way, that Garcia Parra name, that's Mike, but that's Nomar's brother. Their father, a great baseball man.
Absolutely. We are employees of the Cardinals together. He works for the St. Louis Cardinals too as well. He's a great one of my favorite people to talk to, let alone baseball. He's just Michael Garcia Parra is definitely full of fun. Good player in his own right. His brother Nomar's a pretty good player too.
High school baseball, part of the experience for these athletes, but so too is travel baseball. You'll always hear me talk about both. That one goes back to the screen.
Yeah, and travel baseball has exploded all across the country, but, really you're playing 25 high school games. Summer baseball and travel baseball, that's where players are truly developing. Those poor high school coaches in a lot of states, they don't get to work with their players on a consistent basis. So it's those summer club and travel ball clubs where you spend more time with those players.
Two and two the count. Charlie over the top of a slider that died at the plate. And Campos turns it into an out by blocking it up.
Yeah, good slider right there. He's got that backdoor sweepy slider with the left-hander. He's got a little bit of funk in his delivery. So kind of a tough guy. This should be a tougher matchup for Moore. Though the way he's swinging the bat lately, Darren, I don't think there's a lot of tough matchups right now for Malcolm Moore. He's really kind of locked in. This last 15, 20 games, he's really swinging the bat well.
And even over the last few weeks when the hits haven't been coming, the walks have been.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of one or the other.
Yeah, swing's not as steep. He's hitting a lot of pop-ups early in the season. He was really getting underneath the baseball quite a bit, but it looks like he's flattened out a little bit. He's got so much power. I mean, that's real left-handed power right there, and it's going to translate with wood at the next level.
Oh, you young hitters, that was a great shot. Donnie can really take this further. If Malcolm hands on the bat, but both fingers off the bat. In other words, he's not grinding that bat down. He's loosely holding it.
Yeah, you got to think about
fingers.
Yeah, you got to think about being loose and quick. You start burying that bat in your hands, all of a sudden the bat gets slow. And the analogy is kind of like if you were to snap a towel. How would you snap a towel? Would you snap it in your palms or would you in your fingers? And really, that's what you want. You want your bat in the fingers so you can really let that thing whip through the zone. And Malcolm Moore's got a lot of that.
Open stance. Those fingers come off the bat. 2-2 the count. He caught him looking for that slider, beat him with a fastball. Played his travel ball for a team, Alpha Prime they are called. Went to high school at C.K. McClatchy High School in Sacramento. Good athlete.
Yeah, he is. Got a little Adley Rutschman in it.
Good call. That's a good call. Redirected over onto an infield shift. Went off of Fitzpatrick's glove and then over to Tobias, who was actually kind of playing second base-ish. Here's your play.
Yeah, nice play right there and get that second one. And really good job by Arizona State just keeping the score right there. It was 8-1 in the fourth inning, and now you look up in the top of the ninth, it's 8-4. So they've given themselves a fighting chance. It won't be easy in the bottom of the ninth, but at least they gave themselves a chance.
This has got to be fun for Ethan Hott to come home. He went to school at Chaparral, which is 15 minutes up the road here in Scottsdale. Chaparral High School. He was their male athlete of the year, all sports inclusive, a couple of years ago. Two-time State of Arizona runner-up. One jumps up and away. Ethan, the son of Tracy and Jonathan. Team captain at Chaparral. I believe it's the Firebirds, their senior year.
Yeah, really good program there. Traditionally, a lot of good high school players come out of Chaparral High School, and they litter the country, not just the Pac-12 or Stanford, Arizona State, but they litter the country with college players. Great representation, amateur level.
Line drive, left field. Bullpen, very, very good for ASU. What will it mean, though, in this game in the end? We'll find out. We talked about the 100 strikeouts as we welcome you back to the bottom of the 9th inning on the season for Matt Scott. He's 6'7", massive presence on the mound. I do think it's interesting. He pitched half the time. Donnie Marbut, Darren Sutton, and Donnie, he pitched half the time last year, did Scott, and he did so out of the bullpen. Well, this year he had only started, so this is his first relief appearance, and should it take adjustment? I don't know. He's looked pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like he's been doing it for his whole entire life. He came in and done exactly what the Stanford Cardinal need him. The tough part, though, there's those last 3 outs, Darren, are always the toughest 3 to get, and now Matt Scott has been called on to get the final 3.
Afternoon beverages in the sunshine. Sometimes that leads to an afternoon nap.
Yes, most of the time.
Jacob Tobias, Brandon Compton, Ethan Mendoza. First 2, big power threats.
Yeah. And right here, when you got the 8-4 lead in the 9th, last thing you want to do, Darren, is not challenge. I like to just see him just go right at him. If Tobias beats him, he beats him. That's just all there is to it. But you just got to make sure that Arizona State earns it.
Makes such a great point. You can't hit a grand slam with no one on. Oh, what a slider. Right toward that back foot, 0-2.
Arizona State, they just need really good quality at bats here. They're going to have some things bounce their way, but they're going to have some really quality bats because it looks like Scott's got his good stuff today.
Interesting, Matt takes that slow, deliberate turn, but then the leg lift is really quick.
Yeah, he's got a little bit helps with a little bit of the deception because, like I said, he's such a big guy and he's throwing the ball downhill. So you got a lot of big, 6'7", 250-pound body coming at you too as well. A little bit intimidating out there.
Is he all the way? He's almost straight over the top, isn't he?
Yeah, you'd call him high 3/4, but there's at times where that arm drifts a little bit above, and then what happens is when he's so high, he's coming downhill. All of a sudden, that ball's not flat. It's got a little bit of angle, and it's tough to square up.
Outside. So few pitchers. Baseball. Throw straight over the top. Majority are out there 3/4.
Yeah, and that's why there's so many more sliders than curveballs. Right? He's got more of a curveball type action, but most guys are that high 3/4 action with a good slider. He's more overhand curveball 12-6, just like Moore was behind him. I thought Moore came in and threw a really good breaking ball for Stanford.
See if he just throws the fastball right down the middle here. I lost it.
Yeah, a little surprised right there that he went with the breaking ball.
Me too.
I just, you're up 8-4. Last thing you want to do is put guys on. You just want to challenge. I'm the catcher. If I'm Malcolm Moore, I'm living in the middle of the plate right now.
There's been a pretty swift conversation that cranked up Esker and Eager talking pitching. There's action in the bullpen. There is Brendan Compton in the batter's box. Compton has been held to an 0-for-4 today.
You had a typical year, Darren. You can just, it's 8-4. Stanford's up in the bottom of the 9th. You're thinking the ball game's over. They're on that 10-game stretch where they really don't have their typical closer. Arizona State has been swinging the bat so good. So really, the momentum doesn't feel like it's on Stanford's side as much as it should.
2-0 the count, and ASU getting some help. A leadoff walk, now a 2-0 hitters count for Compton. Was that a slider?
It just looked like something was off. It didn't look like his good fastball, so I couldn't tell.
Okay.
It could have been potentially a change, but it just looked like kind of he slowed his arm down on his fastball.
count.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that pitch right there, Darren, on repeat. Let's just say, tip your cap if they find a way, but you got to just be able to put it on the plate. Hopefully, he gets himself out.
Before he went down to that same spot. Back-to-back walks to open the inning. Nick Dugan getting hot in that Stanford pen. Scott, that last pitch was close, but you trained him to call strikes, and he had missed pretty badly.
Yeah, you kind of got to earn it. Yeah, as a pitcher's got to earn his strikes. Right now, he's a little bit off the plate. Here, he's going to challenge right here. If he doesn't get this out, my guess is Esker or Eagers, they might go to the bullpen sooner.
Yeah, they may even now.
Yeah, you can't blame him. Scott's done a good job up to this point. Looks like maybe he's ran out of gas a little bit. Or you've also commented, Darren, he hadn't been in the bullpen, right? So this is kind of the first bullpen. So he's on short rest a little bit.
So far, it's just a conversation. He has yet to make a move to the pen. And now he does. That's some good old-fashioned stalling, Cardinal.
Yeah, good.
My goodness.
Yeah, gave his pen a little bit chance to get loose, and a good job by Matt Scott. I thought he did a good job. Tough ninth inning for him, but prior to get him here, did a good job.
ASU making noise. Is there a comeback in the future? Knock, knock, knocking at the door. Willie Bloomquist and his ASU team. 4 feels like a lot. You think I may be creating some hyperbole here? It's just that they've been so big offensively. Number 1 in the conference, and of late, they've even been better. Number 1 in batting average. So now they go to Nick Dugan. 65 and a third, 59 strikeouts, 6+ ERA. He too, another pitcher like Scott before him, who spent a lot of time starting for Stanford.
Yeah, like I said, so he's got experience too, and a little bit of different role that he's used to, but something that he knows how to do this, and now he just needs to come over and put it over the plate.
He pitched in a ton of pressure last year, elimination games against Fullerton, and then against Texas A&M during the Stanford Regional. 3 2/3 in each outing. His first career win against the Titans and a save against the Aggies. Struck out 6, so he is just a sophomore, but pressure, nothing new. Peyton Risky, Caden Naoki, 230, Utah, USC. We'll have it for you. Well, we're going to have them all for you, but we like to remind you to make your baseball plans throughout the day just to stay with us. Roxy and Wes will have the call. Now, will this be a day where you stay and continue to scout?
Yeah, I'll be here probably every game, every day. So
really?
Yeah, I'm only lucky on the games I get to be with you, Darren. Then I'll be in the stands and watching guys from kind of outside our area too as well.
Okay. The multiple fields at this complex with the Giants so much better than just being at a quote-unquote stadium only. You can get ready for the game and just move them on in.
No question. Great facility here. Beautiful ballpark, beautiful weather. Obviously, it gets a little bit hot here in late May, but I think has been a great location for the Pac-12 to host their Pac-12 baseball tournament.
All right, here we go. Ethan Mendoza, the freshman, gets a chance now, and 3 outs, 4 runs. Those are 2 key numbers you need to know. And Ethan reached a couple of times. Reached on an error, reached on a single, flied to right and struck out. Nick Dugan, your chance now. And a breaking ball is outside. Two-0 the count. Dugan's last time out. at UCLA. Pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 3 runs, struck out 4. Stanford lost that game 8-3. And issue dropped 5 on him in a start back on May the 12th. 3-0. Harris Williams waits on deck. 2 walks already in this inning.
Yeah, the game seems to change when all of a sudden that 9th inning shows up there, and the game seems to change, and strikes are out seem to be a lot tougher to come by, especially when you're when you're up in the game like Stanford is.
It can all change with a ground ball to short on 3-1. 3-2 the count. No science or stats in my thoughts I'm about to share. I call a ton of ASU games on TV. They don't usually tie. They usually win.
Yep.
So if they're going to climb back in this one, they love walking off. It's ball 4.
Well, if you're counting hitters now we got 7, 8, 9 coming up. And once again, you're just waiting to get to the top of the order. And the top of the order's been pretty quiet. So my guess is, Darren, if they get to that top of that lineup today, what you've been watching lately and calling on games, it's going to happen.
We shall see. Stanford, what a great story it would be to open this with a win. You feel them hanging on, clinging right now, even though they've got a 4-run lead. Harris Williams, very speedy if it's on the ground. High pop, you love it when he's in the air. Long run. Surrounding, leaving his feet. What an incredible play. And no tag. No, come on down. What a play by McDonald. Wow.
Yeah, that is an outstanding play in a big situation right there. I'm not sure if Coach Bloomquist is going to try to challenge this maybe to make sure it was a catch, but it was a heck of an effort.
Any chance? I mean, obviously, you can't go ahead and predict that he'd have to leave his feet and tumble and all that good stuff. You think about tagging and going there? Or down 4, no way?
Well, you're tagging for sure. You should be on.
Or going, I should say.
Yeah, I think it looks like with the right type of runner, I wouldn't take the risk in that situation.
Okay.
Because you're only 1 swing away with a below-average runner at third base. You don't have a great runner right now at third, so you're probably sticking there. That was a catch, though. I don't know if it's going to be petitioned or is it going to be challenged. Yeah, they'll challenge it.
And they did look at it. Different than what we see. It's confirmed. Different than what we see during regular season games where the umpires leave the field. We have a full umpiring crew up next to us. Wonderful communication. Love that they have that.
Absolutely. But definitely from Coach Bloomquist's angle, you could tell he was kind of hidden by the defender. Couldn't tell if he caught it or not. Obviously, we have the luxury up here of seeing the play.
Okay, that's a huge out. Incredible play by Court. Yeah, they did look. The review up here next to us. And they reviewed it. It was confirmed. That one's outside. Even Lance has already leaned on one and knocked it out of here back in the 6th inning.
Yeah, if he could duplicate what he just did early in the ball game, that Arizona State dugout's going to go absolutely crazy.
I had him leaking out front, lifting it foul.
And definitely this is Dugan's game. You look down the bullpen for Stanford. There's nobody down there. This is his ball game right now.
So Lance, when he homered, ambushed a fastball. Just something to keep in mind. High velo, he was completely ready for it. So he sees a breaking ball. 1-2 the count. He just looks twitchy, doesn't he?
Yeah, like I said, when he's up there, he looks like he wants to do damage, right? He's whether or not he does or doesn't every time, he's up there giving off bad intentions.
The 1-2. Good take. Good pitch. Nice job by Malcolm Moore. Chest protector keeps it right there. goes down. Builds a wall right behind home plate.
Just as good defensively as the offense. They throw a runner out, blocking the ball well. Just playing a complete game today.
Three-two pitch from Dugan. It's low, ball 4, and he just walked in a run. 4 walks in the inning, and an incredible defensive play.
Well, we know if Undina can stay out of a double play here, Campos is going to get up there, and so it's the last thing that Stanford wants is to see that top of that lineup roll over. So we're going to try to find a way to get one on the rug here.
Pinch runner, Mario Demira. He'll hop out there at first and run.
And remember, that's important. Ball in the gap, they're going to be sending them, right? It's going to run at first base. I'm quite sure, I don't have a great scouting report on him, but you're usually not pinch running non-speed, so you got a speed running out first base.
Undina's got 6 home runs this year, so there is some power in that bat. We're telling Dugan to step off. He wasn't so sure about what he wanted to do pitch-wise. Well, that's a good-looking pitch. Called the ball, though.
At all levels, Darren, it's a horrible feeling not to have that lockdown closer. And right now, Stanford's got a guy in with a quality arm, but that's really not his role. They've got a starting pitcher out there trying to finish this, so not as comfortable as they normally would when the normal closer's in.
Outside. He did not go around. He made the right call there. A couple of very close pitches. 2-1, 2-2. Outside. Full count, 1 out. Three-two, high fly ball, shallow left center field. A run will score on a sac fly, but Stanford 1 out from a victory. Hott came over and made the play.
Yeah, nice job by Dugan getting the second one. Now you're in the danger zone here a little bit, Darren. You've got your 2 outs here, though, but what Stanford's going to have to do is they're going to have to be no doubles, right? Because, you know, Campbell's has got extra base power. So they're going to play everybody as deep as they possibly can and try to keep everything in front of them.
Ryan Campos today. As Thomas Eager comes out to strategy meeting, there's no one warming in the pen. I love that. Malcolm Moore came out. He had something to say immediately. I mean, and his coach turned and listened to him.
Yeah, the one thing I saw in the dugout early in the game, Darren, was just the animation from Malcolm Moore. I don't personally know a lot about Malcolm. You've probably seen him more than I've seen him, but boy, he's sure given off this game's truly, truly important to him. I love to see that because we've already showed it. He's more than likely going to be a first-round type pick. So, you know, this could be his last couple games in a Stanford uniform, and it will be if they don't win this tournament. So just to show his passion for his team and how important the game is, as a former coach, I love watching that.
Animated. He has felt like maybe the strike zone has been challenged just a little bit. He's trying to steal as many as he can. All right, here we go. Fun matchup. Winning run in the batter's box. 8-6 to score. Campos, 1 single, 1 walk today.
Yeah, single's not going to do it. It's going to be tough to get an extra base hit unless it leaves the ballpark, because that Stanford defense is playing in the no doubles right now. They're as deep as they can possibly be.
Ryan's power is foul line to foul line. And this is a big ballpark. He can tie it if he finds the gap. Demira running at first. Line drive down into center field. Campos gets it done. It's a one-run game. Oh, is he dynamic?
Just finds a way, doesn't he? Like I said, doesn't look the part. He plays the part. Always takes really good at bats for the Sun Devils, and that's where the Sun Devils needed a really great at bat from him, and they got it today.
Very quick hands, foot down, level swing. It's a simple way to talk about a hitter, but it's hard to make Campos look bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's just always under control, right? He knows the strike zone. I think the two biggest keys for hitters, Darren, are, am I on time? Do I swing at the right pitches? And he does both those pretty well.
Tying run 90 feet away. That makes even more important behind the plate. Here's Kian Vu. Vu lifts it left field. Tracking it is McDonald toward the line. Stanford holds on. Well, what a huge reaction, too, from Malcolm Moore, the veteran catcher. He goes out a rebel yell, if you will, as he congratulates his pitcher. What a great way to open it for the Cardinal. They survive.
Yeah, absolutely. They didn't draw it up that way, but they got the good start. They jumped out to the 8-1 lead, and they just found a way to hold on for that first round victory, Darren.
Well, that's fun. He continues to just be elated.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know a lot about Malcolm, but I tell you, I watched him during the game, and this is really, really important to him. This guy's went to Omaha last year, and he's thinking, hey, why not? Why don't we win this tournament and get back to the postseason? What else do we got to lose?
Yeah, by the way, earlier in this inning, let's not look past the play that Court McDonald played in foul territory that he made.
Yeah, he made this, like you said, it's a huge park there. There's a lot of ground to cover, and he made a fantastic play that really won't show up in the box score, but if you're watching baseball, you know how big that play was.
We're going to talk to Malcolm in just a minute. He's going to lose some of his gear so he can cool off, certainly. Get some of that gear off him. He was grinding in the heat today. Yeah, heart and soul, a player that I've enjoyed watching for many years. So his day was a special day. Let's start with the defense.
Yeah, like I said, he's known as an offensive guy, but he's got big-time arm strength, makes a really good throw early in the ball game to cut down a runner. And then all of a sudden, he gets the chance with the big swing right there. He's kind of one of those guys that just learned how to do it all, and he did that today.
Yeah, twice in an inning, Malcolm Moore leaving the yard. We maybe were a bit surprised they challenged him the second time. Just a special day. I think you hit on it, you know, whether in the dugout, a meeting on the mound, he immediately has something to say as a catcher when his pitching coach comes out, kind of an associate head coach, really, when you look at Thomas Eager and the role that he makes.
Yeah, he looks like, you know, he's truly invested, right? He just truly invested, and winning is really, really important. It's great to be a part of that.
Malcolm Moore will join us. Hey, Malcolm, Darren Sutton here. It's good to reconnect with you, my friend, and certainly loved seeing your emotion. Describe the passion that went into your rebel yell when this game ended, how much it meant to you.
Man, I mean, this team, we've been riding all year, kind of just trying to stay with it, and that one felt pretty good.
Hey, Malcolm, we know, obviously, let's just call it spade a spade. You got to win this tournament to continue your career here in a Stanford uniform. Not that you won't be back next year, but there's a chance maybe you'll start that professional career. What's it going to take for you guys to find a way to win this tournament?
We just got to keep winning one game at a time. You can't win 4 games in a row, so we're focused on just winning one at a time and focusing on Oregon State.
Let's talk a little bit about your at-bats, Malcolm. Obviously, the big home run early, then you got the second one with the base open. Be honest with me. Were you surprised they pitched to you?
I mean, I wasn't. I knew that they were going to come attack us. They swept us in the season, so we kind of wanted our revenge today. And I mean, I'm glad they pitched me right there because that one felt pretty good.
That's a brief interview, but always one of my favorite to interview, Malcolm. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Malcolm Moore, outstanding, enjoying his work for a long, long time. By the way, Utah, USC coming up next.
Washington, Cal right after that. Wes Clements, Roxy Bernstein are going to take you into the evening. They'll take you into late lunch. They'll take you into dinner. Happy hour in the middle, so hang out with Roxy and Wes. This is a good way to start things.
No question, Darren. And I'm just telling you, I got this feeling, Darren, that there's going to be some upsets. It's going to be a crazy 4 or 5 days here at Scottsdale.
Yeah, what a moment it was for that man. Malcolm Moore and his mates, he hit 2 home runs. And survival time. Survival time. The question for a team like Stanford, is there enough pitching to keep winning games? Because there are some elite teams that have a lot of pitching depth. We want to thank our production team. We want to thank the SIDs for both of these programs, the head coaches and the athletes for making themselves available. And these athletes, they're a representation of their families and their universities. And Donnie and I, it's our pleasure to cover them. On behalf of our production team, keep it right here. We're just getting started. My name is Darren. Hang out right here at the ballpark. Have a good day.